Hello and welcome to the Dead Spot Cinema Club, the podcast where we find movies that we all really should have seen by now and we get who hasn't seen it to watch and review it. So please join me, Andy, Amy,
Hello.
Mark,
Hello.
and Rhys
Hi.
as we watch The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
It's the Dead Spot Cinema Club. We've seen some things, but we haven't seen enough. With popcorn dreams and midnight screens, we're chasing scenes through broken dreams.
The Two Towers came out in cinemas in 2002. It cost $96 million to make and grossed over $936 million worldwide during its original theatrical run, making it the highest grossing film of 2002. Some have called it the best sequel of all time, and it did get nominated for 6 awards.
Those numbers, right? Those numbers, are they good?
Which one?
I don't. You know when you read that about a film and you're like, it made, and I've done it in the last couple of episodes. It's like it made this much money, it cost this much. What is the gauge of like what's good?
Yeah, it made about 850 million profit. So
That is good.
that's all right, isn't it? Yeah, it's all right.
I've seen this film a hell of a lot, and this is linked with my relationship to my dad, who took me to see the film when it first came out. It's not my favourite Lord of the Rings film, but it's definitely got my favourite opening. So, Amy, have you seen this film before?
So, have I seen this film before? I am just so excited that I get to watch this film for this. I have a reason to watch this film, and so therefore surely watch the extended special features. That's made my entire week. So yeah, again, like the last one, I watched this when it came out, cinemas day one with the family. This is my favourite of all the Lord of the Ring films. So yeah, I'm very excited. And
I think I'm excited based on that.
Mark, what about your experience with the film?
Yeah, I've seen it a lot. Obviously, still not familiar with the books, but I watched these a lot since basically they came out. I think they go up in steps, so this for me is better than the Fellowship of the Ring. Not my favourite, but it's very good.
So the best one's going to be the most recent one, yeah, Mark? The Hobbit.
Yeah, The Hobbit. Yeah. They get better and better. Yeah.
Well, in your opinion, that's the best ever Lord of the Rings film. So yeah, I was on a double date the other day, and the other guy, he was like really interested in the podcast, and he was a big Lord of the Rings fan. Like, he's seen my tattoo, and he was like, "Oh wow!" And then he's listened to it. Well, first of all, he told me The Hobbit doesn't count, which is an interesting thing. I don't want any of your opinions on that right now. We'll get to that. But he said The Hobbit doesn't count, and we don't have to watch it, so that's a relief.
Well, mentioning differences between the film and the book, we'll get into that post-watch, but there are a few big differences in this film compared to the book, but that's not here or there right now. So, Rhys, we all know you've not seen this before. What are you expecting?
I mean, based on all of that, I'm expecting this to be better. It's been a little bit now since watching the first one, and I have kept meaning to watch it again, but I haven't. So I've literally only seen the first one that one time, and I've forgotten most of it. So I finished that one expecting to be taken further, a little bit more backstory. I think everyone was dividing. I think I'm going to enjoy this more because I struggled when they were all on the one kind of journey in the first one. I think it's going to keep my attention better, and based on what you guys are saying, and based on little bits I've heard, this is a bit more action-y, question mark. And a bit more happens that's going to make my stupid brain keep looking at the screen without just drifting down towards the subtitles. I am excited for this one. I've been excited to do this episode so that I can watch the second one.
Okay, for Rhys's benefit and anyone that didn't listen or know about the Fellowship of the Ring, in our previous film, Frodo was given a ring by his uncle. He had to take it on a journey to Rivendell, with it joined by his fellow hobbits. They were ambushed by ringwraiths. Frodo got stabbed. I believe Rhys classed Frodo as just being a giant burden. Yeah. In Rivendell, they are joined by some more party members, so the wizard, the archer, the dwarf tank, the ranger, and the hobbits then carry on. They go through Moria. They meet a vast amount of goblins and the Balrog. Gandalf tells the party to run while him and the Balrog fall into the abyss. They then flee, leaving the wizard, and go into the realm of Lothlorien, or as Rhys called it, Wales, pretty much. They then meet the elves. They continue on the journey, where they are then ambushed by Uruk-hai, and the party split, with Merry and Pippin being taken away by the Uruk-hai, Boromir dying trying to defend them, Frodo and Sam leaving by boat, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli trying to track down the Uruk-hai. So that is what happened in Fellowship of the Ring in a very quick manner.
I just learned two things. Do you want to know what I just learned? Probably wasn't expecting to learn about the first movie. I didn't know that whatever his fucking name was, Bilbo was Frodo's uncle. That didn't come up. That has never come up.
We've got the same surname.
So have you and Andy. He's not your uncle.
Wait, so are you saying Frodo and Bilbo were lovers?
Also, I didn't know they had the same surname until after watching the movie, just to be clear. I only ever knew he was called Frodo until like a little bit later when we were talking about him during the editing. I knew he was called Frodo Baggett. Unrelated. I didn't know he was his uncle. Sauce.
So, what was the relationship in your head? Why would he give him this
Oh,
ring?
he was a mate, like an old mate. Like sometimes you got like the weird kids who's friends with the old librarian or something. Just like
Yeah, like the old alcoholic and the teenager with no friends.
yeah, I just thought it was a vibe because he didn't seem to have many other mates. And then I didn't know that Merry and Pippin are the two little useless ones that I fucking hated, aren't they?
Yes.
I didn't know they got taken away. That must have happened. There was like a 10-minute period that I remember saying I wasn't paying much attention. So
You were on your phone, yeah.
yeah, I didn't know they got taken away. So yeah, that's a nice surprise.
Not for them.
It was at Boromir's death they got snatched.
Boromir was the one that's not Simba.
Sean Bean.
Yeah, forgot he died.
Maybe yeah. Maybe watch the last half hour. Get back up to speed.
Got to watch a YouTube summary or something before I watch the next one.
Like a Netflix recap. Yeah.
I should just watch the movie again. I have been meaning to.
Yeah, you won't regret that.
No, but my girlfriend might.
Okay, just in case you don't know, the goal is to destroy the ring.
Which you thought they'd do in the first film.
Yeah, I remember being really pissed off that they were still on their way to whatever, because they went to like 8 destinations, despite knowing they needed to get to the volcano.
I mean, to be fair to Rhys, I don't think he knew it was 3 films till we started the podcast.
I knew there were more than one. That's all I knew. There were more than one.
Okay, so based on your prior knowledge and our little recap there, what predictions do you have going forward, Rhys?
I suspect we're still not going to destroy the fucking ring, Andy. That's what I suspect is not going to happen, I'll tell you that much. I would like to think that I think I do. I feel like at some point I've walked in the room while someone's been watching this film, because it would have been around 2003, 2004 when this was on DVD, and there was like a siege happening. So I feel like there's going to be a siege, right, of a big castle, which I would be buzzing for, because I played Shadow of Mordor, done sieges in that, and they're incredible. I'm thinking, like, obviously the stories have kind of split a little bit, so I'm thinking we're going to get a little bit more character development, hopefully between a couple of the main guys. I might learn a bit more about any of them, to be honest, because we really don't know much at all, apart from like Gimli likes being a dwarf and all his mates are dead. Don't know anything about Legolas, really. I don't know anything about Aragorn, really. I think and hope we'll learn a bit more about them. I have no idea what their little side missions are going to be, though, because I don't know anything about this world, really. So yeah, I think it's just going to be a few separate plots. I don't think we're going to end in a ring getting destroyed. I think, to chuck a cat amongst it, I reckon the party are going to lose the ring at the end of this one. I think that might be what happens. I reckon at the end of this, because it'd be a bit shit to end 2 films to be like, come back again for a 3rd time, we'll still try and get this ring to the volcano. I think this one will end with like, now we got to go and try and get this ring back from so-and-so, and he's going to do this with it, if not. So I think that's going to happen. Someone else is going to have the ring at the end of this movie. It's going to be a quote-unquote baddie, but I reckon by then I'll be on their side, so I'll be vibing it.
Okay, we've got some good predictions there. Before Rhys goes and watches the film,
Oh, wait. Another prediction, because this is called The Two Towers, isn't it? Right?
Right, okay.
Bear with me.
I'm with you.
It's going to be groundbreaking. Go on.
Bear with me.
Okay, waiting. I'm waiting for it.
And this came out in 2002, right? No, I'm not going there. But I remember from the first one that, what's his name? The wizard, Gandalf. He was always like, he wasn't on a tower, but he was like getting visions of the other wizard that sounds like Sauron but isn't.
Saruman.
What's his name?
Saruman.
You're doing really well with names.
Saruman did a lot of his magic on top of a little tower thing, right?
Which Gandalf was on top of at one point after you just said he was never on top of a tower.
You're right. I thought I'd made that up. That's why I went back on it. But so I think there's like 2 different of those, like, I'm going to call them power towers, because if they're not called that, they should be. Power towers, and for some reason gaining authority over those towers is going to be a big objective in this quest. Power towers, trademark Rhys.
Very Ubisoft.
Yeah, you gotta clear the viewpoints, and then you gotta press Y.
Yeah.
For all the objectives in the area. So we're gonna go on like 30 fetch quests in this film as well, just so you know.
Collecting flags.
I have a little mission for you in this. Find out the names of the two towers from the film.
So there will be 2 towers. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
North and south, innit? Apologies in advance. The Twin Towers jokes are going to be relentless. I'm going to be too easy. They're going to be low-hanging fruit, but I'm not going to be able to resist.
Yeah, that scene with the airplane's going to be hell.
Does Steve Buscemi just stumble onto set at some point as well?
Firefighter outfit, yeah.
See, that's a reference probably not everyone knows.
I mean, I do have some trivia similar to Steve Buscemi was a firefighter during 9/11 for this film, but I will save it for the post-watch.
Go on then, warn me about all the racism that's going to happen again.
Oh, well, the one big warning right off the bat is the runtime is longer than Fellowship of the Ring, somehow.
How long did I spend watching fucking Fellowship? I think I spent like 3 hours and 20 minutes watching it. I think on some level I'm still watching it. So it's longer. Is that I presume there's an extended edition I'm going to have to watch rather than...
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And
Yeah.
that's longer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll back it up for that. If it's better, do you know what? I can cope. I managed with the first. I can do it.
I think it'll hold your attention better.
It's 235 minutes. Don't know why it doesn't give me in hours, but there it is.
235.
In 2 hours. Nearly 4 hours.
Sounds ridiculous when you say that.
And how many times did we watch it?
How could any film be nearly 4 hours?
And it's not even a full film.
So it's going to be like an end game and a third. Okay, I'll do it on a night that I'm free from 7 p.m, I guess. So yeah, is there going to be more just race hate in this one? It's another kind of prediction, I guess, is that there's just going to be more like hatred of each other just because of what species, that race they were born into. I'd like to say it's going to be more Welsh as well, actually. I reckon I'm going to be able to see some more Welsh in this one.
There is more hate for background. Well, racism is about on par, if not a bit less, because the exposition is kind of done in the first film.
Is it? I know everything about the world I need to know by now.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it all. It does introduce new places and characters, so there is still more to pay attention to.
New lore, new songs.
Ooh,
Yeah.
buzzing for songs.
You like the songs?
Buzzing for songs, actually.
Maybe not this song.
Because there weren't that many. There weren't that many songs in the first one, were there? I enjoyed the shanties in the pub, and I think they sang something at the birthday party as well, didn't they?
Okay, now Two Towers does have what I consider the worst CGI in the film, so look out for that. That'll be fun for you. See if you can spot what I'm referring to.
Oh, I think you mentioned this in the last episode, you know. I can't remember what you were talking about, though. I don't think you said what it was, but you did say there was some terrible CGI in this. I'll be impressed if it's worse than Gollum's eyes in the first one.
I'm trying to think what you mean by that, Andy. Because I think the worst CGI is in the third film, but
There's a third film? Fucking hell.
But I'd argue that one in the third film is more in the scene than the one I'm referring to.
it's more difficult to do the third film bit with practical effects, I guess.
Have you got anything, Amy?
I was not in the room at the time, so I don't know what you said originally.
Mark said it's long, and Andy said it's got some shit CGI. I mean, I'm not going to have my child in the room for this one because I think it's child abuse to have a child in the same room for 4 hours.
Ignoring it to scribble notes.
So I don't have to worry about that one.
Okay then, we'll see you after you've watched The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
We'll see you shortly.
Buzz in. See ya.
Well, welcome back. No, that doesn't sit right well with me.
That's not what humans say.
Like a game show.
No, fuck it, I'm going to stick with it then, now that you've said that.
Buzzing for this edit already.
We are back. We've all watched the film. Amy and myself watched it a few days ago. Rhys and Mark, fresh off the press, watched it today, The Mentalists. Rhys,
Hi.
how did you find The Two Towers?
It was long. I started watching it a couple of days ago, and I started at like 9:30 at night, and I had to throw in the towel. So I did split it into two, about an hour in, and then I watched the other 2 hours. Literally finished that an hour ago. I think the first thing I'll say is that I'm keen to watch the third one. Like, I'm excited to watch the third one, and I would happily watch the second one again tomorrow. Like, that's probably where I'd start off.
Well, that certainly sounds like a good review so far. That's good to hear.
I mean, in a somewhat unconventional style, I will throw in a stat to give you an idea of like one thing I might have a slight issue with, and that is that AI has kind of done a bit of a calculation for me and calculated that in the extended version, all of the scenes with the Ents add up to about 1 hour and 40 minutes. And that's something I'm not very happy with.
I'm in the middle of reading the book at the moment, and that definitely feels true to book right now. There are a lot of Ents.
So yeah, that's something I have a bit of a gripe with that we'll get to probably.
Don't be hasty now, Rhys.
We will talk about the Ents.
We don't talk about Ents.
Yeah, got an hour of Ent talk to go. So.
Real slow. Just gonna talk.
See, though it is a long film, shall we just get straight into your review notes and see how you truly felt?
Yeah, true to form. I have, while I was watching again, just keep me engaged. I just have to have notes running, because if I've not got notes running and subtitles on, I'll get my phone out. So it keeps the devil's hands busy. It's going to be a little bit of a play-by-play, so sorry if it gets a little bit boring at points, but I'm hoping that I'm going to get a little bit of lore input from you guys, because there are times when I've just had like a name thrown at me or a location, and I've just put that name or location so that I try and remember it. But I don't have any more detail on those things. So some of them, like if you want to throw some facts at me that I might know if I'd read the books, that'd be incredible. She's gone to get her encyclopedia.
Oh yeah, is that the play-by-play, day-by-day?
No, that's also next to her.
This is the companion. So it's every.
I was joking.
Never joke about Tolkien. Every person, all the places.
You're going to be my best friend at the end of this.
I mean, even I've got questions because I've never read the book, so it's going to be interesting. Like, I've got questions for you guys.
So yeah, by all means, if you want to throw some lore at us, that would be incredible. So, opening of the movie. My first thoughts going in was I wanted to watch this with a bit of a mindset of would I have been fine just not watching the first one? And when I got to the end, I said yes to myself. I think I'd have been fine. Everything I needed to know was recapped. So, first of all, I wish you hadn't made me watch the first one. So we open on some snowy mountains and there's some music playing, and this got me asking a question that later was answered, and that's whether there's a theme tune. Because like you watch Jurassic Park or something, and through all the big epic scenes there's the same music playing, but I didn't notice that in the first movie really. But this music at the intro of this felt a bit theme tuney, and then lo and behold it did basically reprise itself many times. I was like, yeah, it's starting to sound kind of epic and cool now, so I enjoyed the music after a while. Oh, it kind of recaps Gandalf's quote-unquote death, and I wouldn't be able to hear this if I didn't have the closed captions on, but he shouts something about the flame of Anor and the flame of Udon. Don't know what either of those are. Help me. Gandalf shouts them in the flashback. It sounds like Gandalf shouted them before his death, but I don't remember him shouting those things before his death. It seems like they play an extended version of the Diablo scene, and I don't know if it's actually extended, but it looks better than I remember it looking.
Isn't this a vision Frodo's having in a dream rather than what happened?
So Anor is a form of the word sun, isn't like the sun in the sky.
Okay.
What was the other word?
Udon.
It's the
Udon.
other side of the book. It's so far away.
Eardon, if we're going with Welsh.
An elf, so we're not.
Ooh, done. Do you reckon that could be that? Which is the pit.
So something about the flames of the pit
that
Diablo goes into, and the flames of Anor is like the sun, I guess. Because then when he goes, cool. So I didn't remember any of that stuff, but it was playing it as if it was a flashback of his death, and I was like, okay. So it showed him riding the Balrog down with a sword and like cutting him up, and it was really metal and cool. And that got me thinking, like, how do you kill a Balrog? Because it seemed he was going at him with the sword, but when the Balrog showed up in the last movie, they all went, swords aren't going to work, and they all dropped their swords. How do you kill a Balrog? Is it like that?
I think there were only 3 to 7 Balrogs like ever that existed. So I don't think killing them was something that happened that often.
Plus, he does have magic, so it's not like he's just stabbing it with metal. He will be imbuing it with his abilities. The film explains how he kills it later on anyway.
It doesn't.
It does.
He just rides it down, and then he uses the phrase "through fire and death" like 6 times.
Yeah.
That doesn't say how he kills it.
The Wikipedia says, as Maya, which is Gandalf, only the physical form of the Balrog could be destroyed. So he basically just like separates it from its body.
Okay. I didn't get that. It just went really, really deep down. I mean, it was a cool scene anyway. And Frodo woke up, so it was kind of like it was a dream, but I feel like it did happen. It shows Frodo and Sam. Sam's put on a bit of weight for this movie, even though he's been carrying Frodo for the last 4 hours of his life. Sam nearly drops a box. He's a bit cagey about the contents. I thought this was going to end up being a really big plot point, but it was just some salt from home, and I quite like that because I get that with Hal and Mon, because that's some salt you get at Anglesey, and I always have to have some because it feels like home, so I like that. Sam explained that his rope was from Lady Galadriel. Is this the one that gave Gimli the hair?
Yes, that was his gift.
So then I was like, oh, cool. During this movie, we're going to find out what everyone's gift was, which we didn't, which wasn't cool. Will we learn in the movies, or can you guys tell me now if we won't?
I think they do show you it in the extended fellowship, don't they? They just go down
Yeah.
the line and tell you what everyone got.
Pretty much.
You were looking at your phone.
Because Sam also got the star in a bottle. What's that called?
Yeah, I agree.
You guys have seen these movies, right?
Erandil.
We don't speak Welsh, mate. Sorry.
Erandil. It's that. Frodo gets Erandil. Sam gets the box of salt earth. Merry and Pippin get silver belts with golden clasps, which doesn't seem as good as the other guys, no offence. Boromir gets a golden belt. Aragorn gets a scabbard for his sword and the elf stone. Legolas gets a Galadriel bow and arrows, and Gimli is given 3 strands of her hair.
I don't remember any of the ones getting mentioned.
And then they all get the elven cloaks and the clasp. The
little leaf one, that's what that is it? That never clocked to me that it came from them. I only noticed their leaf clasps at the end of this movie, and I was like, they look a bit out of place.
I'm sure most of those gifts weren't actually mentioned in the Fellowship, like the belts
Yeah.
and the scabbards.
And the scabbards, yeah, they were not mentioned.
But the +6 to fire resistance, mate, important.
Bit of time with Frodo and Sam now. Sam keeps calling him Mr. Frodo, which is some slave shit, and I don't like that because they've been hanging out for years now, and at no point Frodo goes, "Can you just call me Frodo? It's okay." Like, he's loving it, and it's. I understand Sam he just thinks that's really respectful, and that's fine. But Frodo could be like, "You can stop calling me Mr. Frodo," but I think he likes it, little prick.
Is there a caste system for the hobbits?
kind of as far as like the people on the top of the hill are the richest in the Shire. But with the Frodo and Sam, it was very much okay. I'm not a military person. But back in World War One, you had the officers, and then is it a batsman? Who is it that kind of like looked after the officer? They're kind of
Like their steward.
yeah. So that is what Sam is to Frodo.
I know he's his gardener, but yeah, that's a bit extreme, calling him Mister.
It just goes full slave. It started in the first movie. He was just kind of a companion that was really loyal, and this one, it's like he just serves him, and it's weird.
Yeah, it's like his valet, isn't it? Like,
Especially since Sam can just do all this without him. Gollum's back, the little monkey.
yeah,
We get full Gollum in this one. I said in the last one there wasn't too much of him. There's a lot of like hands creeping over rocks and stuff, and in this one it's just straight away this little fucking creepy rapey dude going towards the sleeping guys, and he makes my skin crawl every time I see him on screen, if I'm honest. The lads are freezing in their wool blankets. If only there was some part of their body they could cover to stop them losing heat from. Hey, if only.
they grew some hair on their feet, so it's
Oh, we can't possibly wear shoes. We're hobbits, even if we're fucking freezing. Like, where's the logic? Everyone around them wears shoes, apart from Gollum. So I feel they'd be warmer. We've got him talking. We've got his full body. He's grim. The lads realise they're being followed by him, so they catch him. They ambush him while he tries to catch them, and then they fuck him up a little bit, and they beat him up. Frodo holds his sword to his neck, and he says, "You know what this is? This is the sting. You've seen this before, haven't you?" What? What was any of that about?
That's about the Hobbit.
That was a really weird thing to say.
yeah, that's from another film.
The one I've seen or not?
No.
No,
The one anyone at this point has seen?
I mean,
In 2000 and whatever?
if you've read the books, you'd get it. But yeah,
It also harks back to what Gandalf says to Frodo in the first film about how he wishes Bilbo should have just killed Gollum.
Okay.
But, the act of mercy.
Oh gosh, are we going to wish some people killed Gollum in this movie?
people need to have killed people in this movie that didn't. Yeah,
People need to have killed people many fucking times. And you know what? The people don't have a problem killing other people, but just the ones that... It's a lot. Anyway, the sword that he is holding at his neck looks really blunt and shit, so props need to have a word. It's a weird bit where they tie up Gollum and pull him by his neck a bit, and they kind of walk him like a dog, and I think that's worse than killing him, to be honest. So again, Sam said it. Sam's just speaking for us at this point, I think, where he's just like, I know he's up to no good. We got to leave this fucker to die. But he's like, oh, I'll serve you, master. And he just starts love bombing Frodo, and he falls for it like a fool. Don't fall for him, Queen, was my advice. There's a bunch of orcs running to be greeted by what the orcs called orc maggots. And they look different. What were these things?
The ones running with the hobbits were the Uruk-hai from Saruman. They were the ones that were bred from orcs and goblin men to be superior. They met regular orcs who they deem as lesser.
So what we see most of in this movie is Uruk-hai,
Yeah.
not orcs.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. These two idiots are back, the little hobbits that I'd forgotten about and didn't like. And they just did a weird thing where he said he was sick and then he filled him with orc whiskey.
Like grog or something, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like engine oil. It was fucking horrible. Okay, excuse my notes because I'm going to keep saying orcs. But I mean Uruk-hai now. So the Uruk-hai smell man flesh. So I guess some races are just bred to smell other races. Just racism is just built into this world, isn't it? It's the only thing that keeps anything going is the fact that everyone just hates each other for their race and everyone is really loyal to their own race.
Basically, yeah.
Without that, it seems that everything's really nice and happy. We get the boys, Gimli, Legolas, and Aragorn. This is what the last quest needed. Those three interacting with each other was perfect. Every time it happened throughout this movie, it was incredible. It was like my favourite bit. I would take a movie that just had them in it. Gimli's still a bit of comic relief, but without the other two hobbits in the way, it's kind of more, it's lighter comic relief. It's not stupid.
Not slapstick, yeah, it's...
No, it's just him being a little bit sarky. It's class.
Yeah.
Like when he goes, "We dwarves are natural sprinters, very dangerous over short distances." He's like puffing and panting while they're running. It's class. It's just fucking class. So everything that happens with them in it, it's just so good.
I'm wasted on cross country. We dwarves are natural sprinters, very dangerous over short distances.
I'm really glad they've like split off. I think that's benefited the trilogy. And then I don't know, will Aragorn ever be called Strider again? It's happened once.
No.
Not in the film.
Okay.
No.
Then we have a mention of Isengard. There's loads of mentions of Isengard. What is it? Where is it? Who lives there, please?
So Isengard.
Isengard, excuse me.
Isengard is where...
It's the tower Gandalf was on top of in the first
Yeah.
film. He was being held there.
Actually, I think you'll find that the tower was called Orthanc.
It's in the location of Isengard, surely. Isengard is like that circle of woods around
yeah,
it.
that whole area.
Well, there you go. Orthanc. I've done one of my tasks.
So that is where Saruman lives.
Saruman lives in
Yeah.
Isengard. Is that in Mordor?
If I could show you this, which no one else will be able to see, so it'd be useless to them. Have I got a
Okay.
general map here at the front?
I did think the whole time I was watching this, I was like, I wish I had a
So
map.
can you see
Maps
here?
is,
There's so many maps.
So this is to you backwards. So they're at the bottom of Fangorn Forest. This is Isengard. Whereas Mordor is over here somewhere. So they're much more like...
So it's like halfway between where they're going.
Yeah.
and
They
Mordor.
do show a map in this film. Like,
They do. I talk about the map later. And then somebody says the union of the two towers,
mhm.
which again had me thinking that my prediction's going to be bang on, where I was like, oh yeah, there's those two magic towers and they're going to link and we got to take control of them. Anyway, then we had some panning shots of Hogwarts and the Sauron Tower. I said, is this one of the towers? What is with the eye? Because I remember you guys mentioning that was to do with Sauron. I think now that I've seen to the very end of the movie, the idea is that is Sauron's eye.
The Eye of Sauron.
But I don't quite... Is that Sauron and he can only manifest as an eye? Or is he like off on a throne somewhere, like Thanos, looking through like a periscope that's looking through this eye?
In this film, the eye is Sauron. That is all he can manifest in the films.
Okay.
In the books, it's a bit different.
What's in the books?
It's been a while since I've read them, but I'm pretty sure he actually has a physical body in the books. He just doesn't go out and do anything. He's more just a general leading from his...
So he is the eye at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. And then we had like a bit of a narration. I think this was Saruman talking. And he said, "The old world will burn in the fires of industry, forests will fall, we will drive the machine of war with the sword and the spear and the iron fist of the orc." And they said they needed to burn down some forests to make fuel, to feed fires, to make weapons, to arm orcs, to do shit. I'm starting to understand from the last movie when Mark was saying, like, this is just a metaphor for industrialization ruining the planet, and it's quite on the nose.
It's a bit, yeah, it's a big theme in this one, especially, yeah.
But I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the kind of industrial nature of it, and it actually showing not just the orcs being this just threat, but actually starting from the ground and being like, here's where they're coming from. This is what they're doing to build their army, and this is their priorities and stuff. Because so many films you get, oh, these baddies are coming, and you don't get that kind of, this is how they got to where they're, how strong they are and how many numbers they are and stuff like that. You actually get a real eye for how big this threat is. The whole time the movie's running, you can kind of still sense more of these fucking orcs coming up through the ground, and like there's that threat that keeps building, and I enjoyed that. Oh, then there's humans. Humans are swearing themselves to Saruman.
Yeah.
Or what look like humans, cutting their hands and swearing themselves. Where have these guys come from? Who are they?
Is that one of the Corsairs in that scene?
No, the Corsairs are the third film.
So they've come from the east, pretty much from all the areas that aren't necessarily.
No, he's not talking about the Easterlings and the Haradrim.
That one guy that slashes his hand to prove it.
Yeah, he had like a bunch of mates behind him, and they went to his like town or something, and they were like, let's go fuck up Rohan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Does your book have wildlings?
That word might have been said.
You know, books are good, but the internet's a lot faster.
Oh, hot take.
The men of Dunland. The wild men of Dunland.
A fair green country of hills and glens west of the Misty Mountains, very secretive and hostile to strangers. So the west of, how would you describe the west of Misty Mountains to him?
Should we just send him a link to a map?
I won't open it.
You want him to make this as awkward as possible for us. So,
I think what's crucial to this is that I only have the information the movie gives to me. That is how you decide whether a good movie, because not how much world building has been done behind the movie, it's how much has been done with the movie, isn't it? Because if I'm expected to know that shit, I didn't need to. It's nice to know, but like it was just interesting to see that there were humans coming on board as well, because I don't see what's in it for them. Like it feels like the Uruk-hai are just bred to want war and blood and power, so it makes sense. But it doesn't really make sense for a human to be like, "Ooh, these guys have got the right idea."
I feel like the kind of gist with these guys is they don't trust the other humans and people. Maybe they feel a bit pushed out of historically where they've been, and so if they help him win this, they can get that land back.
And I'm sure that would happen.
It's a much more human motivation, isn't it?
Land.
So then we are introduced to Rohan, which I believe is just an area where a bunch of nice folk live. Edoras, was that a person or a place?
It's a place, Edoras.
Oh yes, because this was where the little peasants were. The peasants were in the village of Edoras in Rohan. They were running away from the hordes. Lord Eomer said, "Those orcs are not from Mordor." And then I was like, I don't know where they're from then, buddy, because that's the only place I know where bad things come from. So now I'm confused. Why have you said that? Is that because he's like, these don't look like the normal orcs, like these are Uruk-hai, but he doesn't know Uruk-hai exist?
yeah, they got a white hand of Saruman on them to say they're not a Mordor army, they're an Isengard army.
Eowyn is talking to the old lord. That's just what they called him at the time. I realised later that that's King something. And Grimer, Lord fucking Grimer. Grimmer.
Grimer.
Like the Pokemon.
Slimer.
My first note in this scene was, this motherfucker is not fit to rule. And if I can say that, one fucking glance at the thing, why has nobody in the town been like, oh, maybe something's going on with the king? This seems insane. This entire situation where this poor old man, his eyes have turned to white, and there's this creepy fellow just whispering in his ear sweet nothings, and he's giving all these crazy fucking demands, and everyone's just like,
He's the king, why not?
Like,
Yeah.
this is fine. He's the king, even though he just doesn't look like the king anymore. It's fine. Then we get Saruman the White is mentioned. I don't think I knew he was Saruman the White. And now I'm like confused because I knew Gandalf the White was a thing going into this. So now I thought I've got everything wrong. And I thought Saruman was Gandalf.
It's easy to think of it.
The number of times I doubted myself in this movie.
It's easy to think of it like the Pope. So there can only be one white at the top, and once he's been deposed or died or whatever, then the next white Pope comes along, gets promotion.
Find out Eomer is the son of Eomund. Eomund, I believe, is the king. The one that's turned weird because of Grimmer. No, got that wrong. Everyone's shaking their heads.
That's his uncle.
Eomer is then banished by Grimmer.
Yeah.
What was his name? Grimmer.
Grimmer Wormtongue.
And then again, that king is in no fit state to sign anything. His signature literally runs off the page, like to the bottom of it. And you're like, who's taking orders from this guy? How has he even gotten this job? Who's read that CV and been like, Grimmer Wormtongue, you're hired, my guy. You're hired to be the guy that sits next to the king and talks to him.
He did used to be nice, and then he was kind of convinced to turn him, and did so slowly over through time.
Was he always called Wormtongue?
I don't know if his tongue was always split.
That his tongue is actually split. I thought that was a metaphor because they were calling him a snake.
No, his tongue is actually split. I think you see it briefly, but if you don't know to look for it, then you wouldn't see it.
The worms have split tongues.
Worms have tongues? Don't you say, Grimmer, see worm tongue. You know what? Dictionaries are stupid. On a tally count for every time I hate on. I'm pretty sure this isn't a dick. Yeah, it's stupid. I hate it.
How much did that dictionary cost you?
It was a present from Andy, so you'd have to ask him.
Andy, how much did it cost?
Let's just say what you really want to pay for it.
Fuck.
So his name was not Wormtongue. It was Grimmer, son of Galmod, man of Rohan. He was a clever but corrupt and mean-spirited person, and in the years before the outbreak of the war, was easily seduced by Saruman to betraying his people.
And then at some point split his tongue open?
Maybe he didn't really have a forked tongue and they added it. Deception.
I just thought it was a turn of phrase. I thought it was Gandalf.
Yeah, because he was being snake-like. Yeah.
Yeah, because Gandalf does say, keep your forked tongue behind you.
I thought that was such a fucking shot, honestly.
For some years he succeeded in his task, although he earned the hatred of all those around him who saw beneath the mask, hence the nickname Wormtongue. So they're saying that maybe he officially wasn't. And then in the book, he is offered to stay if he goes to war with them, and he's like, nah, I'm off.
So yeah, that was crazy that he was even in that position, but we'll get further with that later, I guess. Then it cuts back to the boys, Legolas and Aragorn and thing. They're doing a great line about running. They're running, and they have really smooth dialogue most of the time. But then Legolas slows down, and he goes, they run as if the very whips of their masters were behind them. And he slowed down so much to say that, and no one was in earshot of him when he said it. I was like, why even add that to the film? Why do that? They run fast. Sound. We know you're running after them. It seemed weird.
I think officially they were running faster than they should have been because they were being aided by magic.
I like the scene with the orcs cutting trees because they're clearly using polystyrene props, but it just makes the orcs look really strong, so it kind of works. Because every time they swing the axes at them, the whole tree shakes up and down, and it kind of worked. It just made them look super strong, so I enjoyed that. We find out there are living trees. I wish I never did find that out, looking back. The orcs are turning on each other, trying to eat the tiny hobbits, and then, they just eat other orcs as well, I guess. So, because one of them just gets sick of arguing and cuts his head off, and he goes, yep, chow down, boys.
What does he say? What's the line he says?
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
Meat is back on the menu!
There you go.
And then there's a battle with horses. The horses come, and they fuck up these Uruk-hai. And I was like, sick, Legolas now going to caught up with them. And it wasn't even them. I even put a note, oh shit, this isn't even Legolas. But there was some sick archers just coming and killing things. And then I said, hell yeah, more orc killers. I was a bit worried. I've only met 5 people that actually want to kill Uruk-hai. They're outnumbered already. So then we meet the Riders of Rohan, which would just be an excellent band name. And we should use it for a side gig or an OnlyFans channel or something when we do that. Oh yeah, when they meet the Riders, he starts making fun of Gimli for being short, and that seems a bit redundant, because they've been around for forever. Dwarves been around, they know they're short, it's the whole deal. You're not going to insult a dwarf by making a short joke, are you? It doesn't seem... I just don't get it. because he made some kind of joke about it. I can't even remember what it was, but it was shit.
I would cut off your head if it were further from the ground.
That's the one. It's just unnecessary.
I would cut off your head, dwarf, if it stood but a little higher from the ground.
That was also in the book.
We find out we've got some extended names of the boys now. So Aragorn, son of Arathorn, Gimli, son of Gloin, and there was one for Legolas, but my typing couldn't keep up with the closed captions, so I didn't see what Legolas's full title was.
They call him Legolas of the Woodland Realm, despite him having a father who is a king and could easily have, but whatever.
So one of the main things I enjoy about this world is the kind of culture and language building and all that stuff. And with that being so colourful, it seemed weird that everyone is just called something, son of something, and they haven't put like a term in there for the specific language. You know what I mean? Like, why in Elvish is it not like Legolas something? But you know, like in Irish you'd have O, like O'Connor.
Yeah.
In Welsh you'd have App. In Scottish you'd have Muck. Why is there not like an? I felt like that's a missed trick.
I feel like there probably is in their own language, but just not when they speak.
But you would use it then, wouldn't you? Because like you would call yourself O'Connor in front of an English person, and then that would just be a nice way of like intertwining the languages. It would have been lovely.
Tolkien is a huge fan of Norse mythology as well. So, you know, like if someone was son of Eric, they'd be Ericsson. So he loves sort of that named after your dad thing. Even like, I think later in the film, there's even like a commoner child from Rohan who introduces himself by his father's name. No one's going to know who his dad is, but it's still important enough to say it's like his surname.
But it's just everywhere, and they're all different. So it seems strange that that's not a something that we saw in there, and he just kind of copped out and went son of. And I'd like to see like Gimli O'Gloin. That would have been class. And Aragorn Macarathorn. Back to Eomer. A lot of these guys are starting to look similar now, and this is the problem I had with Boromir and Aragorn. They look quite similar to me. But Eomer, I keep forgetting which one he is when a lot of them show up with long hair and beards. But he's clearly like a good guy, and he's doing good stuff. But that actor's face doesn't fit a good role. I just kept looking at him, thinking like, this is a bad guy.
Carl Urban.
He's gonna do bad. It was Carl Urban. Fucking why does nobody look like who they are in this movie? I knew he looked familiar.
He's usually
as well.
the anti-hero now, so I guess yeah, he doesn't fit with the goody look.
That's why. It's just from fucking what's he in? The Boys. It's just from that. I've just seen him there, been like, hey, he's a bad guy. Fuck, I'm so stupid. Right, Uruks, and then, you know, that's then said, we know what Uruks are. So, Uruk-hai, does that just mean an army of them, like Uruk-hai? Is that just lots of Uruks?
I don't know whether...
Or are they two different phrases? Get your book out, Amy, and tell us it's not under you for Uruk.
Uruk-hai, Orc race. There you go. Oh, no, they're just Orc.
I guess that's in the Orcish language.
So, Éomer says that someone, who did he say has died? The little hobbits. He says the little hobbits are dead because they've piled the carcasses and burned them, and I thought that's really fucking rock and roll. So I like the Raiders of Rohan. Like, I'm really on board with them. They think the annoying hobbits are dead, but I'm not that lucky. Aragorn then gives out a big old like wail, like he's very upset that these two might be dead.
Ooh, are you ready, Mark?
All trivia.
Go on.
All right.
Are you going to tell him when he kicks the helmet
I'm
and
just
screams?
comparing this to Aragorn's reaction when Gandalf did die. And he was like,
Well-
come on, guys, we got somewhere to be. And now he's like wailing and crying. So tell me.
Yeah, the scene when he gets to the pile of bodies, he kicks a helmet in frustration and then screams, almost in grief. He actually broke his toe kicking that helmet, and that was a genuine scream.
Oh, shit.
That is the trivia that everyone who's seen Lord of the Rings knows already, so I get to share it with someone like it's fresh information. so-
Nice. That works now because that obviously wasn't scripted because it doesn't fit the story. for him
Yeah.
to be that upset. That's so good. Why were they using such heavy helmets? I like that. Buzzing with that. I remember you mentioning a broken toe in the last one as part of like a behind the scenes thing, but I thought you just meant someone dropped something on their foot or something like behind the scenes. That's
I think there was
fun.
a lot of foot injuries in the filming of this. I know, didn't Sam step on glass when he was like wading
Cool
through the
tracking
river?
skills from Aragorn, son of Arathorn. He knows where the little hobbits have gone, and we get a little flashback to the horse nearly killing him.
Yeah, Sherlock's it.
He Sherlocks it, and I was like, oh, I bet Amy liked this bit.
I love that bit so much. You're correct.
Then we learn that they must have gone into Fangorn Forest. Cue encyclopedia pages.
About Fangorn.
Yeah, because they were like, oh, nobody should go into Fangorn.
So Fangorn is one of the oldest woods in Middle-earth. Now, in the book, I've not read far past this, so my book knowledge is about to end and die. But while I've got it, Fangorn is just one of the oldest. So they've got the very old trees. They say that if you cut a tree down, it'll attack you.
Oh shit, that happened.
In less layman terms.
We go into the tree then, don't we? Because the Uruk got stepped on by a tree, and the tree calls
Not just any tree.
Tree calls the hobbits little orcs, which I thought was really funny. They went, "We are no orcs," and he went, "I'm no tree." And he's an ent, and his name is Treebeard, which sounds stupid. And his job is a tree shepherd, which sounds like a job you give someone with a brain injury.
Treebeard is one of the really, because these ents have been there for like 3 ages, if not longer, and Treebeard is one of these like old ones that are left. So he's like a super duper old ent.
Why do the trees need shepherds?
Do you remember later in the film
Yeah.
where the trees go for a wander?
What's the problem with that?
That's why.
Why do they have to stay together?
In the book, the trees that can move around are called something else. I can't remember what they're called, but they're spiteful bastards and they just attack people. And that's why they need to be shepherded.
Because he was talking about how his trees are like a bit pissy and they get angry and try and hurt people. But the way I read into that was that the trees feel the hurt of man. Like they can feel that other men in the world are cutting down trees, so they're pissed off about it, so they're taking it out on men as and when they can. If all the trees were allowed to just wander about and fuck up the orcs and stuff, then no one would be cutting them down and they'd be happy.
They also grow more trees, I suppose, is also another.
It sounds like you're on board with tree shepherds, Andy, and I don't want to hurt your feet. Okay.
It hurts me that you shit on them. I fucking love Ents.
I thought you would love Treebeard because he was Welsh.
I didn't enjoy him at all. He took many minutes off my life and did not give me any information I needed. So, hobbits think the tree is referring to the White Wizard, meaning Saruman, but I already know this is going to be Gandalf, and I'm a bit annoyed that is some information that I've just kind of absorbed through pop culture, because when I watched this, obviously I knew Gandalf the White was a thing. So I was like, I know now they're talking about Gandalf coming back. But I was trying to put myself in the shoes of someone new watching this in 2000 and whatever. And I was like, I bet that'd be fucking awesome to be thinking that these trees are like on the evil side and they're taking you to Saruman. And then the white light comes down and it's fucking Gandalf who you thought was dead. I thought that would have been epic. And I was really disappointed that I didn't get that. But I should have watched it 20 years ago, so that's on me, I guess. Back to Gollum, taking the hobbits through the marsh. Gollum is complaining about his hunger. What is Gollum, like, biologically? Because he seems to have a strange appetite.
It mentions it a bit briefly in Fellowship, doesn't it? That he was
Does telling him now spoil the future?
once halfling.
They said he's
One
a
of the
river
river
folk,
folk.
yeah. Because he seems hobbity because he's got the big feet.
He's a halfling, yeah, so he's a race similar to hobbits.
He gets really lovely food offered to him later and he doesn't want it, and then he eats like worms and shit. And I understand he's had to live off the land for a long time, but
A long time.
you wouldn't then turn your nose up a bit of soup, would you? But
How old is Gollum?
I think it's more the ring's corrupting influence has warped him that much that he is just pretty much a bestial person now, isn't he?
they'd give him some food, which maybe was like their special hobbit bread or something, but they'd give him a lump of something, and he was like, "We can't eat the food, can't eat hobbits' food, we must starve." And he's like said he doesn't care if he dies, he can't eat this food. And I was like, that is literally what happens when I put carrots in the bolognese for my toddler. He's like, I must starve and die because I can't eat this food. Such a tantrum. There's some dead faces in the water. Gollum keeps saying orcs and hobbits which is really pissing me off because I feel like later I learned that he can use a plural S without adding a syllable. He does it later. He says fucking, what does he say? I wrote it down because it annoyed me so much. He can speak properly, so I don't know why they insist on forcing this orcs and hobbits. It's really kind of like cutesy and gross. It's shit. I don't like it.
So, side note, he is nearly 500 years old. He had the ring for about 500 years. Yeah, it's pretty much 500
Oh, wow.
years old.
Yeah, That's how they used to speak back then.
Yeah, he was classed as a proto-hobbit,
Ooh.
so before hobbits were a thing.
Okay, interesting. Frodo drops into the spooky water, and then we get the kind of like ghosty images and scary things. It's the stuff of nightmares, honestly. Because my first note was, and don't answer me on this, but my first note was, is this the bad CGI Andy was talking about? Because Andy has said that there's one bit in this movie that is just the worst CGI. But then I was like, I don't think it is. Because really weirdly, like, with that, it's almost like they were 2D images, these ghost images. When I get a bit ghosty or I'm feeling a bit of an experience, that's how it manifests to me, and it really fucked me up seeing it on screen because I was like, I've seen faces like this in this way, and it's scaring me. I don't like it. Didn't enjoy that at all. Frodo is stroking the ring in his sleep. Who is Gollum? We find out that he is Smeagol because he's having a little chat with himself. He sings a song, which isn't very nice, about a river and people dying. So Frodo, he asks if he's Smeagol, like he knows who Smeagol is. Should I know some backstory? Will that spoil anything? Seems like there's backstory between. Is he part of Hobbit folklore or something?
Yeah.
Oh.
So no, he was in the Hobbit books
Bilbo knows him, basically.
Bilbo would have told Frodo
from when he got
stories.
the ring to begin with.
Then we get like a big loud banshee scream, and someone says something about black riders coming. That turns out to be a big dragon with a wraith on top of it. Sam has to stop Frodo from stroking his tits to get the dragon away. I remember this now. They're like lying, hunkering down in this little like bunker of terrain. And the Black Rider, I guess, can sense the ring is kind of like being connected with the person. And Frodo's there, like with his hand in his chest, like this, just rubbing away. For the listeners, I've got my hand on my tits right now. And then Sam just grabs his hand and yanks it away, and boom, Ryder's gone. Just had to stop him rubbing his tits for the Rider to go away.
I think Amy's got a bit of information for you regarding the.
Is there a page on Frodo's tits?
No, I feel like I almost need like a little jingle, like a da-da-da, fun fact. Feel free to use that. That's fine. The cry of the Nazgul is actually a donkey.
Ooh.
We recorded a donkey. There you go. The end of the fun fact. Diddle-doo.
That would make me rub my tits, yeah.
I haven't stopped since. Then we're back to Legolas and Aragorn, and I'm correct in pronouncing it that way because Legolas says it that way a few times in the movie. He does do the full like ha-dar, ha-dar.
Calls him that several times.
Ha-dar. In the middle, he does say Aragorn, but during this time, he's like in the middle of speaking Elvish as well. So again, lending itself into Elvish being Welsh. Of course it is. We know it is. We agreed it is. But yeah, he says Aragorn a few times. So he's fucking Welsh in his class. And then here is Gandhi. Gandalf comes back. He's shining down on the trees, but he calls himself Saruman, which confused the fuck out of me. What? Why did he say he's Saruman?
Or rather, what Saruman should have been.
Is Saruman a title, or is Saruman the bad guy's name?
Gandalf and Saruman both came to this world with a job to do. Saruman has obviously forgotten that job and has been corrupted. So when Gandalf died, he was sent back in the role of Saruman. So that's why he's now Gandalf the White, because he's kind of like taken on what Saruman should have done. So that's why he is what Saruman should have been. He is like the uncorrupted version of what Saruman was long ago, but still Gandalf.
Does he still have to do the job he had to do as Gandalf the Grey, or is that done?
No, they'll promote an intern. They'll look all.
Confusing.
Did you like where they overlaid Saruman's voice when he started speaking?
Didn't even realise, mate. Didn't even realise.
But yeah, he
Oh,
does
shut
seem
up.
a little bit confused about how he's there, doesn't he? Like it's sort of slowly coming back to him that, oh, I have been alive before. Oh yeah, that was me.
For a minute, I was like, oh, is this like Saruman's consciousness now coming into Gandalf and like actual, like kind of king style? Like Saruman's over there, been taken over, but it's just his body, you know what I mean? So I was a bit confused, but yeah, that makes sense, Andy. He says this phrase a couple of times. He says, I've been through the fire and water by Dragon Force. Balrog was beaten up by Gandalf on the top of a tower, is what Gandalf said. He said at one point in his life, he beat up the Balrog at the top of a tower. I was like, ooh, this movie's called The Two Towers. And then that thought just left my brain. So he was Gandalf the Grey, now he's Gandalf the White. Edoras is the next thing I've written down. What is Edoras?
The place.
That's a place. Okay. Then I've just written Gimli is the exact blend of Scottish and Welsh. Don't know why I've said that. Shadowfax, Miras. There's a horse coming and it's got a 15-second slow-mo intro. This horse must mean business. It must be the most important horse in the world.
It
We
is,
must
to be
know who
fair.
it is. Why did it get such a slow intro as if it was like someone we were meant to recognize?
He's the king.
I imagine there was like 10 horse enthusiasts watching this being like, oh my god, look at the horse that's playing this. That's a beautiful fucking horse. Sorry, I don't know any names of types of horses.
Shadowfax.
So
No, he's the king.
Shadowfax is a Miras.
Yeah.
What? He's a king. He's a horse.
He's the king of all horses.
You understand that doesn't make sense.
The king of the horse.
You are not saying that with
He's in
conviction. Does he have a little horse throne?
He's the best of
A little horse crown?
To be fair, in
I'm gonna check
in the
something
book, I don't think he's technically the king of the horses. He's just like, I think the way they say it is like an old classic horse has come back to life and's been born in him. Like he is that good that he is like an old horse reborn, something like that. I don't know. I read the book like 3 days ago.
It just didn't deserve a big long slow mo intro. The horse, I think it allowed it to run about 250 meters towards the camera before it went, yeah, horse, that's my mate, Shadowfax. We'll ride him now.
Some people like horses. What can you say?
Yeah. Like, there were a lot of shots in the movie where they were, like, gratuitous and just, like, a big helicopter panning shot of Aragorn reaching the top of a hill. You just look at it and you're like, that is a 20 grand shot right there for 5 seconds of movie. But
Just-
some of them, you're like,
yeah.
that is just making it look more epic.
It creates a sense of scale, shows you how big the world is. Yeah.
A horse running at you for 15 seconds isn't doing it for me.
But he's the fastest horse.
That horse was never mentioned again, didn't do anything important in the movie. Maybe it will later.
Fastest. He was Théoden's horse, the king of Rohan. However, he was too unwieldy for him, so he was a gift to Gandalf. Bit of a shitty gift. It's like, hey, here's a horse that no one can do anything with.
To be fair, Gandalf stole him earlier on, and he was amazed. But then Gandalf let him free, and he went back to him, but no one could catch him because he was so wild. So then, once it all resolved, Gandalf asked for him as a gift, and he's like, "Yeah, go and have him." And then he like ran to him straight away.
I'm going to preemptively make a prediction about some other movie in this franchise and say that Aragorn is going to have to like tame him at some point then. Because Aragorn tamed a horse in this and he was really good.
Jesus Christ!
Then we get a poem from the end, which is awful and slow, and I hate the fucking end. Stop putting it on screen. I don't like it and it's stupid.
Oh, I thought you would have loved that little bit of cultural.
Do you know who voices Treebeard?
Yeah, it's Gimli.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's the same fucking voice.
But deeper.
So stupid. I wish it was Gimli. I wish Gimli was on scene for the scenes that the Ent was in. This is where I took a break then. The hobbits went to sleep. I went to sleep. It was 11:15 and I've watched 1 hour of movie. Like, almost exactly.
I mean, we told you were wrong for starting that late in the day. But
I was
whatever.
up for it, but then just other factors in my logistics of the weekends just made me a bit anxious about carrying on until 1 a.m. So then I pick up from the break, I start watching. Immediately I write a word that I don't know what it says or what it means, but it says Barad-dûr. This is Sauron's eye. So is that the tower? That's my guess.
Yeah.
That was my task, to pick a tower name.
Name it yourself.
That's the tower name, yeah? Got Barad-dûr and another tower. And then... What?
Andy might disagree.
Okay.
I'm just letting him talk for now.
And then another name that comes up, Numenor?
Numenor.
Numenor.
Yes.
Numenor. The heir of Numenor.
Numenor is a place. It was a different land, and then they came here when their world kind of collapsed. Let's say, and then the kings come from the men of Numenor. Isildur, Aragorn is technically from Numenor.
That's why Aragorn's so old, but still looking so fit.
He's a bit hot, isn't he? He's hotter in this, I think.
Gets ruined in the third one.
By everyone else. And then King Theoden, I realise, is the name of the one who's dying, or at least it looks like he's dying. Gandalf talking to... Oh, who's he talking to? Aragorn? He says, we must trust Frodo. You must finish the task alone. And then whoever's with him says that Sam went with him. And he goes, oh yes, very good. Like, what? It's really important that we've got to trust him and go alone. And he's like, oh good, Sam's with him. Fucking, he's not going to fuck it up too much then. And then I've written, Sam is the real hero, and I hope that's the twist. I hope it actually turns out that Sam is the fucking one that they
The chosen one.
Yeah, because he just is beautiful, and Frodo's a piece of shit, and he's a burden to everyone. Again.
Just because Frodo puts himself in danger every possible opportunity.
He's just so fucking stupid and naive and clumsy and has no positive attributes whatsoever. Apart from that, he's fine. I think I found the shit CGI. Is it the bridge by the Black Gate?
That is not what I was referring to.
Because when they see the Black Gate open, bridge that the orcs are standing on shakes a little bit and it looks fucking awful. Like, it's so piss poor.
All of the CGI is aged Some of the practical effects are good still, but yeah, all the CGI is aged.
Basically, all of the practical effects held up well.
It honestly looked worse than looking back than it did last time I think I watched it.
Why are orcs so disciplined? They're marching in step and they work really well together, so it seems like they have good discipline. But then whenever you like zoom into a group of them and get a bit of chatting, there's just constant infighting and they eat each other and kill each other. So like, when did they get trained to march in step with each other, and why are they happy just standing totally still in formation from a distance? But then when you get close to them, they're all just fighting all the time and they don't want to follow orders. So it doesn't make sense. Later, they're stood out in their ranks in Mordor, and there's hundreds of thousands of them just standing in their ranks in squares for ages, and they're just standing nice. It's like, these are really well behaved Uruk-hai.
The Uruk-hai are more disciplined than the regular orcs. It's when you introduce the regular orcs, does it become more ramshackle? Does it become more disordered? Because like, the regular orcs have a bit more animosity between them all, and they all just start to bicker. But don't forget, the orcs are descendants of elves, so they do still possess certain qualities of the elves, so they should still be able to.
You said don't forget, as if that's not brand new information.
It was established in the first film.
Was it?
Yeah. So orcs were twisted elves. They were tortured, they were beaten, they were exposed to dark magics, and they were twisted, and over time the generations became this.
I see. The whole race thing is always going to give me a little bit of a scratch in my brain where I don't like it. Have they done any race swapping in Lord of the Rings? Is there a character in a book that is one race, but then in the movies they're a different race?
There are lines that are changed between people, but no one particularly has changed race. But some people say things that other people should have said.
And a few characters have been swapped out for other characters, so we're not overloaded with characters, but no one's like swapped race.
Okay. What about gender swaps? Is there any of that?
Nope. All I can think of. There's still not many women in this for anyone to be swapped gender.
Arwen in the first film, when she rescues Frodo from the Ringwraiths, that's actually a male elf called Glorfindel.
Oh.
They swapped him out because he's just a complex character and is.
Then do you know who's not a complex character in this? Any woman.
They do things to please a man. That is all there is.
They serve their purposes. They are the Samwise Gamgee of genders.
And Samwise is the useful one, so remember that.
Indeed. Hobbit invisibility cloak worked a treat. They pulled that over themselves and turned into a rock, which these well-trained soldiers could not identify as a rock right in front of them. Really scary as well. Like, that was a shit idea, but it paid off. Why the fuck did Gollum take them to the gate and then tell them, don't go through the gate? There's a better way to go. There's a sneakier way. There's a quieter way. There's a safer way of going. And Sam's like, why didn't you fucking tell us? And Gollum goes, you didn't ask. I didn't fucking ask this time. He just went, oh, don't actually go that way. There's another way. It was entirely Gollum's idea. He just waited till they got there to tell them.
Well, Gollum didn't know that they were planning on going through the Black Gate. They just said, take us there. So it was like, okay, don't know why, but...
They tortured him and said, take us to Mordor. So he went, all right, quickest route then.
He thought they just wanted to see the gate.
Yeah, tourism, yeah.
And then
Gollum definitely feels a bit autistic. Like, you've got to tell him.
here's a short-term goal, kind of. This is what you asked for. This is what I want. This is what we did to get it. So yeah, he says there's another way to go. Then we go back to the idiot hobbits who talk about their height, which was good. Because we had this conversation in the last episode. We asked how tall hobbits were. I think the outcome from the book was that they were 2 to 3 foot. And then they're saying they were 3'6" or 3'7". So a movie hobbit's taller than book hobbits is my question. Or are these really tall hobbits?
I could be wrong here, Amy, but is Merry meant to be one of the taller hobbits?
Between 2 to 4 feet, to be fair.
Oh, okay. So they are, if that's the range there at the top end.
Yes, Merry is portrayed as one of the tallest hobbits, especially after what happens now.
Well, they drink this water. I don't quite get it. It didn't really. Did it go into it more and I wasn't paying attention? But it just seemed they drink some water and get tall and talk like a tree. But whether that's temporary or permanent, I'm not sure. Because, and where's the cap? Could they keep getting taller if they kept drinking it? I'm not sure. They run away and then they get crushed by a tree. And I said, good, stop fucking about. And the tree was then getting told off by the other tree, which is very confusing. And the trees are mad about deforestation, I guess. Oh, this is when he explains that the trees are all feeling a bit of pain and trying to take it out on people. That they have lost all of their Entwives. And have you seen any where you're from? That was beautiful. Do we have? Give me a spoiler. Do we ever find out what happened to the Entwives, or do we find any again?
We do not.
I think it's just a funny throwaway line.
Oh fuck.
I did look into this. I mean, it's not a funny throwaway line, unfortunately. The lore goes into it way too much. And how
No throwaways here, buddy.
the Entwives were the ones that mainly like raised new trees, new orchards, stuff like that. And then in the Second Age, they went to the east to keep growing trees, and then they just couldn't find them anymore. And Tolkien specifically says that it was always a mystery. He was never going to explain it until like a bunch of years later, where in a letter he goes, Sauron probably killed him.
It is good. I do like that he just went, we lost him. And he's like, oh no, I'm sorry. He's like, no, we just lost them. Don't know where they are. It's really funny. We find out King Theoden's heir is dead. There have been so many names thrown at me at this point. I don't know who the fuck they're talking about at this. I just don't know. I gather he's got 2 sons. One of them is Carl Urban.
Nope.
No? False. Wrong, Rhys.
That's his nephew.
Fuck's sake, help me,
Or
guys.
as they say in it, I think they call him sister son instead of nephew, because nephew would be too easy.
So he only has one son, and that's one that's dead. Is that right?
Yes. Well,
Did we see the one that died much?
In the extended editions, a scene where they find him wounded.
yeah.
By the
Oh,
river.
yeah, that's the one I watched.
Carl Urban finds him by the river. They bring him back.
Oh, okay.
They stay by his bedside and then he just died.
No, it's like a crash course in their family tree you get. So you do miss a lot the first time. It's a lot of information for new characters squeezed into the first hour.
Cut to the really cool fort at the top of a mountain. This is, I don't know the name of this village. It's the place. Is it Rohan? Is it somewhere in
It's
Rohan?
the capital of Rohan.
This is Edoras.
Edoras.
This is Edoras.
So as Aragorn's approaching there, he sees the flag fall to the ground, which is just a really cool bit of symbolism. And the fort is fucking sick from the outside, and it looks like it's real. Like this is a real thing someone's had to build, and I like that.
Well, they did build Edoras on a hill in New Zealand, but to do it, they had to get special permission, and they said you can do it as long as you put it back exactly how you found it. So this place was unreachable, so they had to build roads, they had to build infrastructure to get there. But when they did that, they scooped up all the moss and the grass, put it in a greenhouse nursery somewhere to keep it alive, so when they were done filming, they could recover all the roads and everything that they'd built with the original stuff. They had to get in the New Zealand Army, help them do this. It was a massive fucking scale just to build Edoras.
Edoras is in this movie for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Man.
It's just the exteriors of the building. All the interiors are in it.
The interior of the building that you see is like production team could work in there. And because it was an extremely it was a really big wind tunnel, that flag flying off was purely coincidental.
Oh wow, nice picture of you. But yeah, that you could feel that was real. Like as soon as he approached it just felt really real, and I was like, this is very cool. Harks back to what I said last time about this just feeling like a real world that exists, and you just feel like you're traveling places with it, and that it's been lived in for centuries. I like that a lot. Have a little look around the inside of the village, the big palace, culty looking building with gold on the front of it, and then we go in. They could take their weapons, and Gandalf's like, you wouldn't part an old man with his walking stick. Yes, like, you're gonna fuck someone up with that stick when you get in. And then they get in, Grima, Wormtongue, that's when they call him that for the first time.
I have not passed so far in death to banding crooked words with a witless worm.
And then they call him Gandalf Stormcrow. Why do they do that?
Each race has a different name for Gandalf because he's been around a long time. They don't all necessarily know him by the same name, so they know him as Gandalf Stormcrow. The elves just know him as like Gandalf. Don't they also call him Gandalf Greyhem as well? Like
They don't like him at this point because they feel, because of what Grimm has been saying, that he just brings bad tidings constantly rather than being any use.
Yeah, obviously Grima's wanted him to keep the stick outside because he knows that's the thing that's going to unbind his magic. Does it anyway, and the boys beat everyone up because they just get things done, these guys, don't they? When they've got something to do, they crack on and they do it. Frodo, on the other hand, throughout this whole fucking film, has done nothing. These guys have been on like 12 different quests, so trust Frodo, I guess. Gandalf.
when the boys are kicking ass, I do love how it's all the guards that are like hired or at least paid by Grima that come out and get their ass kicked, and everyone else is like, what's going on?
Yeah, all the ones that have been there before and have swords, they're just like, I'm just going to see how this plays out a second because this doesn't seem right. Spell's broken, and he looks like an entirely different guy now. Why did nobody stop this before? This does not look like their king. Now I know what their king looks like. The man they were taking orders from does not look like their king. Why have they been taking orders from him? It doesn't make any sense. Unless somehow this spell has just kind of been able to seep across the village as well, or was it only the king's mind that they've been able to like infiltrate?
It was only the king, and it was more of a, he was telling him negative things so much and not letting him go outside that he believed all these negative things were true, and that's what theoretically aged him and made him look so downtrodden. But
He looked dead.
I don't know if it's just because there are people there that are grim as men, like you said. So I'm not sure if they're keeping everyone else in check.
Maybe not letting people see him too much.
It was probably gradual as well, so it's not like he just looked like that the next day. It was probably everyone just always getting old. Or...
And then, I've written, surely now someone is going to kill Wormtongue. Fuck you, Aragorn. Why stop him? That's not a good enough reason. His reason was, enough blood has been spilled in his name. That's exactly a reason to kill him. Like, this is ridiculous. He's going to stir up more shit. And lo and behold, at the end of the movie, we see him back with Saruman. So he's killed so many people. And this guy is so objectively evil. This is an easy win. I don't understand. Someone is dead, still the son, I think. And then there's a terrible funeral song, which is just out of tune. Terrible singing. It was so bad that there were no closed captions for it.
It does always take me by surprise when she just shouts the first line. It's like, Jesus Christ.
But when you learn more about her character later, does it make more sense for her? Like, she can't.
Oh, is it her singing? Is this that's her as well? No, it's still stupid and
can't
shit
sing,
and...
can't cook, but she can fight.
Yeah.
I'm not like the other girls.
At least if they'd subtitled it, I'd have an understanding of the impact that song was meant to have. But it was just noise. Didn't know what to make of it, really.
Everything sort of surrounding Theoden in that part is like really emotional and really sad, and then they're trying to add to it with other characters who just don't do as good a job, I don't think.
Yeah, it wasn't needed. Like the tone was kind of down here. We didn't need this weird little ballad. He then says the line that no parent should have to bury their child, and that's a line that I've heard millions of times since then in other things, and it's obviously incredibly impactful.
Is it a Bible verse?
You know, he's lost all hope, basically, hasn't he? He's talking about how he's going to be the last king of his house. He's going to be one of the last kings of men, and it's it's all on his watch that everything's falling apart. And Gandalf's just like, yeah, probably.
Yeah. One of the notes I made is like comparing this one to Fellowship is that this movie definitely has like higher highs and lower lows. Definitely. Like the stakes are way higher, and like obviously the action's really intense and the reconciliations, all that are really big, but then everything's a little bit more impactful and sad. I guess because we know the characters more, but we don't know this guy at all, really. But just something about the way it's played and the tone being very kind of fluctuating, it does kind of... It really brings it down.
Some of those camera shots as well, when it's just like completely silent and it just goes like a close up of the flower, and he talks about how it always grows on his graves of his fathers, and now it's growing on his son's grave. And it's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because he said it always grows where his family are buried, and then when it pans out, you can just see like 12 of those mounds of those flowers. You're like, fuck, dude.
I do like how they also subtly change the colours as well, so it's not as vibrant and bright as when you see them later on. It's just more muted, and it's just somber, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think we said about the first one how it was quite dark a lot of the way through, and this is very much not that. It's got a lot of ups and downs. I think it's helped a lot by the fact there's 3 concurrent stories happening, isn't there, in lots of different locations. But yeah, definitely felt the impact of a lot of things more. They talk about Helm's Deep. I've heard of that. I'm guessing from some video games or something, but I've heard of Helm's Deep. That's all I knew about it. Gandalf reckons Rohan or the Rohanese are just gonna go and get overrun in Helm's. They're gonna go and get overrun in Helm's Deep, so he sends Aragorn to like go and help them out because they're gonna get fucked up if they go and hide in the corner. And then he says, 300 lives of men I've walked this earth, and I did the math. The average life expectancy of a man when this was written in 1949 was 65.3 years. So multiply that by 300, that puts Gandalf at around 19,590 years old. How old is he actually?
That's it. It's a difficult thing because he wasn't born here. He came from somewhere else. Yeah, this says at least 55,000 years old in his physical form.
And men used to live longer in the olden days, didn't they? In Middle Earth.
Rhys is pretty fucking old, okay?
Pretty fucking old. I can take that. I can take that, guys. Aragorn is calming Brago, the horse. The girl is horny for Elvish because he speaks Elvish, and she's like, "Ooh, who's this guy?" Then he says, "I was raised in Rivendell for a time." Did I know that already? I'm not sure. Do I know that he was raised in Rivendell?
It's not discussed much in the first film, but I think in the extended edition, it's sort of suggested he spent a lot of time growing up with
'Cause
Arwen.
he's from where Isildur was from. Where's that?
No, he's Isildur's heir.
Yeah, where's that? Where they're from?
Gondor?
Gondor.
Gondor. So he's from Gondor, and that's not
By
Rivendell.
blood, I don't
So
think he was ever there, was he?
we know he's got a bit of elf in him, don't we?
No, he puts a bit of himself in elf.
Doesn't he just?
I think he's full man, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he's just sort of rejected his lineage and he's gone to live with the elves and he's become a ranger. But, you know, he's not part elf. He's just from like an old line of kings. So he's got like unnaturally long life and adept at being a leader.
Is his backstory deliberately a bit obscure?
He's
then?
tried to reject it, so you don't know much about it in the first film. So
Okay. We find out about Gondor and the
Dunedain.
The Dunedain Rangers, baby.
yeah.
Which sounds like a Canadian ice hockey team. The Dunedain Rangers. Saruman's talking about Aragorn. Wormtongue's like, I reckon he's from Gondor. And then he's like, isn't he one of the Dunedain Rangers? And he's like, oh, he had this ring with two... I only saw him for a second, but he had this ring with two serpents and emerald eyes, and one of them was overlapping the other and eating the other one. And
You described it, and you
they then take a few minutes, go to Saruman's library, pick out the book, open the book on the right page, then continue their conversation, and they go, look! The Ring of Barahir. That's what it must be. It's Isildur's heir, the Lost King of Gondor. So that's cool, I guess. They know who that is now. Go back to Aragorn and the elf lady. What's her name? I keep calling her the Rohan girl.
Eowyn.
Eowyn. Aragorn sees Eowyn do this. Whoosh, whoosh. You have some skill with the blade. That's what he says. After whoosh, whoosh, two swings, and he just wants to get his fucking knob in, doesn't he? He identifies she's got some skill with the blade. We're having panning shots of Rohan people fleeing towards Helm's Deep. We're getting Wormy chatting to Saruman, who should have been killed. Just saying. They are sending wild riders, which I've heard of from the Shadow of Mordor games, but I can't remember what they are. This could be the end of the movie, was my note there, at 1 hour and 36. Would have been perfect. Would have been a nice little end to Two Towers Part 1. And we could have just done this podcast. But no, there's another hour and a half. In fact, there's another 2 hours.
Yes.
No, there isn't. Yeah, there is. Oh, yeah, Frodo and Sam exist. I absolutely hate Gollum and Frodo. They are both just making my skin crawl. Like, they're obviously we're meant to be starting to see similarities between them now, but it's just so frustrating seeing them and seeing Sam being just trapped with them, basically trying to like talk sense into them. But then Sam hasn't got it in him to just be like, Frodo, snap out of it, you're being a cunt. So it's hard to watch. I'm not enjoying these scenes. I'm not enjoying the scenes with the two hobbits. I'm basically only enjoying the scenes with the boys.
That's fair.
So Gollum versus Smeagol. Doing the left to right pan, it's helping us see that Gollum and Smeagol have got this kind of internal struggle. And I think it is doing a good job of kind of putting across his inner pain, because he does say at one point that he is like, he's just in hell and he hates him, basically. And it's get a little bit of sympathy for Gollum there. It's tough. It is tough. And he says, Master looks after us now. So he is capable of ending a word with the letter S. Then Smeagol brought some rabbits. Oh, because Smeagol got rid of Gollum temporarily, I think. So he brings some rabbits. They have an argument over the food, which is quite fun, because Sam makes him a lovely soup with the rabbits. And Smeagol's like a boomer dad being like, you've spoiled good fish, give me it raw. That's the best bit.
You've seasoned it, it's ruined.
I like my steak still bleeding with a heartbeat. And then they see some Oliphants.
Yeah, Oliphant.
I guess.
Yeah, I wonder what they're meant to be. Yeah, I don't know.
Just could have thought of a better name for
I'll
that.
just call them elephants,
big
because elephants
elephant.
don't exist in this world, do they? So just call them elephants.
To use the fucking French word for elephant, I guess. Gimli has like a little story about people thinking there's no lady dwarves just because they all have beards. I just put Gimli as the gift that keeps on giving. He's just fun. The Rohan lady, Eowyn, makes the worst looking suit known to man.
Mhm.
And then some good acting from Aragorn. He kind of like pours it away. And when he feels that she might have seen him pour it away, he cringes. It's really fun. And there's a few bits like this, like when Gimli's being a bit funny, or when there's little bits like this, or there's one bit where Legolas is like having a bit of a laugh and a joke with Gimli. It's good kind of like acknowledging normal humor without trying to be like over the top comic relief like it does sometimes in like, especially in the first movie, but in just some movies in general, they'll like in an action they'll have like a really over the top comic relief character that just says stupid stuff. But this was just kind of like normal down to earth characters just having moments where they're a bit witty or where circumstances are just a little bit humorous. They're not letting the tone of the movie like bind them and be like, oh, we can't do anything funny because later we're going to talk about children getting murdered. Like, it's just, this is just life. It's all encompassing. It's the whole world. That includes the ups and the downs and the funny and the sad. So I did enjoy that, to be fair. I like that it wasn't bound by that. We find out Aragorn is 80 years old.
80, I wanna
Yeah.
say.
And I didn't follow the conversation leading up to him being 80 years old. So what was he saying? What was he explaining about why he's that old?
That was a really useful bit.
Yeah, she said something along the lines of, I was speaking to, did Shane speak to her dad and said, went to a battle with him ages ago and that can't be possible. And he went, oh yeah, but he was a young lad then, so I'm surprised he remembers, implying he's even older than you first assumed.
She's just old. Looks great.
Do you understand why? For these...
Did he have the ring as well? That seems to be the usual answer when someone's too old. Oh, they had the ring for a bit.
It's to do with him being, Dunedain Ranger, and he's descended from people of Numenor. They lived longer than men in Middle-earth do now.
Because of the carnivore diet.
It's because, they got royal blood, so they're better than everyone else.
Oh yeah, the race hate. Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's actually.
Oh no.
Actually,
Actually, it's because the Numenor men are half elf. Come from, it's kind of like a half elf thing. Same with Elrond. Basically, mum and dad, one human, one elf, and at some point in their life, in like the first age or some shit, I don't know, they chose whether they wanted to be elf or human, and so the descendants of Numenor decided to be human, and they got extra long life because of the elves, whereas Elrond was fucking smart and went, nah, I'll be an elf, dickhead. And so...
Okay.
Mark doesn't believe you.
What are the pros of being an elf?
Immortality.
Taller.
So the pro of being human, slightly longer life. The pro of being an elf.
Immortal, wise, fair, job.
Graceful, get to live in the trees.
Yeah, I don't understand why he went human. I don't know that part, but I'm sure there must be a reason.
Then we get some dream casting from the elf woman who I've forgotten her name. Arwen, maybe? Arwen. She's like casting herself into Aragorn's dream, it seems. I might be wrong there, but that's what it seems like. So she obviously got a sniff that Aragorn was flirting with Eowyn and is like, I'm not having that. So she's like swooped into his dreams to be like, remember, I exist, dickhead. I get well confused now because there's an Elrond flashback, there's a Rivendell flashback, and I could do with some dates being put at the bottom of the screen here while they were like happening to be like 3 months earlier this happened or something. Because I don't know if these are flashbacks or dreams.
I think the flashbacks of before they left Rivendell, because she gave him his the star of whatever that necklace is called, just to remember her.
Oh, so before they left, like in the last movie, before
Yeah.
they left. Right.
The Even Star is the name of the necklace.
There was talk from Elrond about Aragorn should let Arwen go to the Undying Lands and take her love for him there with her. What does any of that mean? What are the Undying Lands? What's happening? It sounded like there's this glorious place where love-struck women go to wail about their exes. Send her there, she'll be happy for the rest of her life. Like, that's what it sounded like.
Do you remember in the first film when Frodo and Sam saw the elves sort of leaving in a queue through the woods?
Yes, I do.
I believe they were trying to escape from the war to go to the Undying Lands, which is like a place only elves can access or invite only, but it's not on this earth, is it? It sounds like a death cult, but it's like, to access the Undying Land, you have to leave this earth behind.
Oh, so they can't come back from the Undying
I don't
Lands?
think so.
And obviously Aragorn wouldn't be able to go to the Undying Lands because he's not an elf.
Oh, he hasn't been invited.
On the map of Middle-earth to the west is basically their version of America, which is kind of like where the elves started, and that's the Undying Lands. That's where a lot of stuff went down. There used to be a northern route where the elves could just walk up north and then around to Middle-earth. back when it was Beleriand, but there was a lot of tectonic changes due to certain events in the history that I don't want to bore you with right now. But during like the different ages, all sorts of shit happens to the world, and it changes how it looks. So like, yeah, I think at this point the only way to get to the Grey Havens is via boat, and only the elves can access it, and they'll never die there, basically.
The thing comes with the big scary hyena. I thought this was a wild rider at first, but then I think no, the wild rider's the wraith, isn't it?
Yeah, these are warg riders, which I think you may have misheard. Yeah, maybe you conflated them.
Oh shit! No, because when they kill him, when Aragorn kills this guy, he runs back and he shouts "Warg." I was like, that means nothing to me. He just says "Warg." We're under attack. And I was like,
It's a weird way to shout.
Did he say run and the closed captions got it wrong? So yeah, that was a bit of lore I didn't have. So Legolas takes this guy out on his bow and does a really weird mount to his horse. Did you catch this when you watched it recently, Mark? To get
What's
back
that?
on his horse, I'm going to do the action. So Legolas kills the scout, right? He does a great job, kills it. And then there's a horse coming behind him here. I'm going to
Yeah.
And then he puts his arm this way, and then pulls himself in front of the horse, up,
Yeah.
and around.
Turns into a CGI ragdoll, flips around it, and then goes back to being
It was insane. It was insane. Like, why did he go around that way?
That is one of the parts I always remember as being bad CGI, even when I watched it like back in the day.
So bad.
Yeah.
It's like the bit in, because I know the Harry Potter movies came out around a similar time. It's like the bit when one of them gets thrown around by the troll and just ragdolling around. I was like, this is meant to be a controlled maneuver. He's jumping onto this thing. It's insane. So then they have a really fucking sick battle between like the horses and the hyenas. Really here for that. That was so cool. That's probably the first proper battle in this one. And then Aragorn gets thrown off a cliff. I was there like...
He took a tumble.
I was there like, we're going to walk over the edge of this cliff and see him like hanging on by his sword or something. And Legolas is like shouting for him. And then I was like, no shit, this guy might really be dead. Because they weren't going to like look over the edge or anything. And I was like, fuck, this is like, he's a good ass character. It's not like Gandalf where I knew he was coming back at Gandalf the White. He might really be dead. But then I was like, nah, there's this kind of unwritten rule. There's no body, there's no real death, is there? So I was holding out a bit. And they said that the Wolves of Isengard was the next term that was used. So is that what these things were called that they just fought against?
I think that's what they're referring to. But
yeah, a warg is just like a big hyena dog wolf thing, isn't it? So...
God, yeah. So then they arrived in Helm's Deep. It seemed like when they said they were off to Helm's Deep, it seemed like they were going somewhere like new. Like this is just a new town. We know where it is geographically, so that's safe. We'll go there. But then it seemed like they knew everyone who was there already. So I was a bit confused. Like, had they already settled in Helm's Deep and they were just going back there? Or was this a new location for them to move to?
it was like the fallback fortress, but I think like all the surrounding towns had already sort of retreated there when they were getting attacked because the kids' mother's there, the kids who turn up at the fortress. So I think all the towns that got attacked already knew to retreat there.
And then they meet, what's her name again? Aowen. And the first thing she says is, so few of you have returned. It's like, oh, gee, thanks. Like, we just struggled back here after battles. Do you want to just remind us that some of them died? Cheers. And then it cuts back to the baddies, and they're talking about, oh, they've retreated to Helm's Deep. We need to go and fuck them up. And then it's got me reiterating this question. Hopefully you can help me here, because I'm not a war strategist. Why are they so focused on destroying this quite small population of people who are now like off in the corner of the map, not doing anyone any harm, doing nothing at all? They don't really have any power. Why are the baddies so intent on like, we can't move forward until we've fucked up them who are all the way over there, and there's like 50 of them?
Aren't they just trying to pick off all the kingdoms of men one by one, and now they know that Gandalf and Aragorn are with Rohan, they want to fuck up Rohan, basically.
Also, Helm's Deep and Isengard are only like a day's march away. Maybe not even that. They're pretty close to each other compared to everything else in Middle-earth.
Yeah, because you were saying Amy had a magic book out, Mark, earlier when you were around that says like all the dates and times. And this movie seems to take place over the course of like a week, did you say?
Yeah, it's like the 25th of Feb to the 6th of March.
Which is crazy because the first one was like 30 years. That's insane. And this one's longer. We get a good zoom out of the army now that Saruman's got, and it's fucking huge. Like, the army is so big, it brings a literal tear to Grimmer's eye. And I
Yeah,
was
he's just
wondering, like,
overwhelmed, isn't he?
yeah, like, it's almost like, it's kind of like maybe he has a little bit of regret in what he's tied into, or it is just like, he is just overwhelmed by the gravity of this enormous threat he is a part of, I guess. It was weird. You don't often see baddies shedding a tear before they've lost, which was interesting.
I feel it was more like he knew that the plan was to like destroy the world of men, but he didn't think it would be like total extinction. He thought there'd be something left for him to like take over from, maybe like there would be women or people left for him to control and be the king of. But no, this is like destroy.
Yeah, you've seen these guys, and they're like, "You're just gonna trample everything I know." Yeah.
Oh yeah, that tear was a choice made by the actor, so he can just make that one eye cry, and so he tried it, and they loved it, so they kept it in the film.
Wow. It's really solid, to be fair. I can't name another movie where, like, a quote-unquote baddie is crying before they've lost at the end of the film or something.
It does show remorse to a degree, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah, it humanizes him a little bit. And in the context of just, like, an enormous army of monsters, a really human moment in the middle of that, at the top of it, is quite stark. We go back to the tree in The Hobbit, and this is where I've written the note. This tree just sounds like Gimli. Oh, it's the same guy. So I think I paused it at that point, and obviously it gives you the prime who was in the scene, doesn't it? And then it just said Jonathan. What's his name? Jonathan Rhys something.
Jonathan Rhys
Jonathan
Davies.
Jonathan Rhys
Davies.
Davies, and I was like, oh, that's the same guy. I know him. So that seems lazy, but he is a good voice actor. So what are you gonna do? I might have given him a different voice to do though. Not just do your Gimli voice slower. Aragorn lives, happy face, and then good old horse helping him out because the horse like lifts him onto his own back, fireman style. Quite cool. This is when the baddies are talking about how much they've fucked everything up so far. Like they are dominating, and they're like, "Yep, Gondor's all we got left, last free kingdom." And then I've just put a note, why do they still need the ring? Why is that still their focus? I don't understand. I know why the goodies are trying to take the ring to Mount Doom, but I don't know why the baddies want the ring now. Because they seem to be taking over the world without it. Fine.
Sauron wants it to bring all his power together, so in the films he could like get his physical form back. Sauron wants the ring, and it's double cross Sauron.
Ooh,
So
okay.
it's not really gone into in the films, but yeah, he's been looking for the ring for a long time because he knew kind of where Isildur died, so he's been like searching that kind of area because ultimately he wants the power. That's why Gandalf in the first one calls him a fool for thinking that Sauron would share power, but he kind of knows that, so he's kind of wants to become the big bad and screw him over.
Then we get on to this is the scene with the map now. And I've just written, I'd love to have had this map next to me
The whole time.
while I
Yeah.
was watching. Just like that would have been really nice to just be like, oh, they're there now.
But he points to these two towers on the map and he goes, "Oh look, there's us in the middle."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've decided I'm going to purchase a map like that and have it on a wall somewhere because that'll be cool. And I'm sure that's not an original thought, but I'm 20 years behind you guys, so give me a break. So on the map they're working from, it's quite rudimentary. Like it's just white, black lines for mountains, black lines for water. And then I've just noted that, like, topologically on that map, Mordor is a shithole. Like, it's surrounded by mountains, and on that map, it didn't have none of the water sources went into it or anything. So, like, is that accurate? Is that why Mordor's so evil? Because it's just fucking no human thing can live there because there's no water, and it's like none of the elements are making it over there.
Gives the impression it's like a wasteland, but I think it used to be like anywhere else in Middle Earth, but it was corrupted.
Yeah, they set off Mount Doom and all the ash and everything that's spit out darkened the sun, so orcs could live there. Like, they haven't done it in this film, but orcs in theory can't go out in sunlight. They mentioned it briefly in the first film, saying, "Oh, they can travel by daylight," when talking about the Uruk-hai, but like typically orcs can't do that because it burns their skin.
There are some bits where you see the sun burning their skin.
Yeah, but they don't like go into it greatly, do they, in this film? So yeah,
Only when it's
Doom,
convenient, yeah.
Yeah. So Mordor's just like a land of perpetual darkness, so orcs can live there. I mean, there are water sources there, but I imagine they've got to be pretty tainted at this point.
Just grog and blood. Why doesn't Frodo know Boromir is dead? wasn't he with him when he died?
No, that's Merry and Pippin.
Yeah, Frodo had already started doing a runner as soon as the battle started, basically.
Because he died protecting Frodo, didn't he?
No, he was protecting Merry and Pippin.
Because Boromir tried to take the ring from Frodo, slipped the ring on and ran away, remember? And that's when he went down to the river.
And then we've got Boromir's brother. Don't know who these guys are. They don't seem that important, but they're helping, so that's nice.
Do you know Boromir's brother's name?
Boromir.
Faramir.
And I imagine there's like 4 brothers in between that are like Coromir, Doromir, Eoromir, and then Boromir. Considering there are so many languages, they all seem to agree on place names. Another interesting one from what I know about languages and etymology is that one thing that most languages don't agree on is place names, i.e. I don't live in England, I live in Lloegr. Whereas here, every language seems to say place names the same.
People and races are known as different names in different languages and that, but yeah, I don't know if places are.
You mentioned last time that Lothlorien had like 10,000 names.
It has like subtitles, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, because the elf gave it lots of names, but then you said you knew it as Lothlorien, but none of the elves said Lothlorien, so maybe that was something. But yeah, none of them seem to have one that's like in their own language. You know, like there isn't like a black speak word for Gondor or something. It's just Gondor. Whereas like most languages have their own name for other places. Which is, I mean, maybe Tolkien's making a point and he thinks that's wrong, because I agree with that. But because it doesn't make sense to name something in another place. But that's beside the point.
Changing the Z to Brazil, adding the Z to Brazil, and not pronouncing pronouncing the S in Paris,
or just naming a mountain in another country Snowdon.
Yeah,
because you want to call it something else.
Wait. There are different names for. It's hard to see in this Reddit post, but there are different names for each place depending on who said it.
So they just simplify it in the movie.
Oh yeah, I've just remembered one actually. Yeah.
Go on. What do you remember?
So Fangorn Forest, don't Rohan refer it as to like forest events or Treebeard's Forest rather than Fangorn Forest or something like that?
You've also got Moria, which is called Khazad-dûm by the dwarves, but we call it Moria. I say we because we are people.
Ah,
okay.
Gollum gets beaten up by Boromir and his mates, which is weirdly hard to watch considering I don't like Gollum, but he just gets the shit kicked out of him. It's not very nice, is it? But then I want them to kill him, but I don't want them to beat him up.
Yeah, he's just got rid of Gollum and he's just turned back to Smeagol and he's all being cute and innocent fishing in the pond and then they're like, oh, let's kill him.
Yeah, and then
he's ugly and weird.
Yeah, and then he's then in that vulnerable state, so obviously Gollum can take over again, can't he? Which is probably some kind of comment on mental health, which is very progressive for a book written in the 1950s. Aragorn is reunited with the boys. He chins off Gimli. It's like Gimli tries to like give him a hug and ask him where someone is, but then he just goes, "Oh, where's the king?" And he just goes past him. But then Legolas has a little joke with him, and he has a smile with Legolas. So I ship them, and I'm pretty sure I'm probably not the first, and I bet there's a whole load of deviant art about that. But I just know, they have a nice connection, don't they? And they're very similar, and they're probably going to fuck at some point. Aragorn's telling him, like, go and get some help, because you're going to get fucked up. But he's like, we can't, because Gondor aren't going to help us. So does he genuinely believe that no one's out there, or is he just like too proud to reach out?
So yeah, he believes that they asked for help in the past and no one came to help him.
It seems there's no harm in sending one rider to go and ask him, is there?
Just you wait until the third book / film.
And then I feel like the trees are going to fuck up the Uruk-hai at some point. I guess that's what this is building to. I hope Merry and Pippin don't get any credit for it, because they're not doing anything. They're just an excuse. They're just an excuse for us to have that perspective and for the trees to narrate in English. So Merry and Pippin, they've just done nothing in this movie. They're just kind of observers, aren't they? So that we've got a reason to have that hour and 45.
They change the direction that Treebeard walks in. That's it.
Epic.
So that he sees that what Isengard's been doing and gets angry. But if he chose to walk there on his own, he would have had the same reaction. So.
Yeah, people have had medals for less. Got Uruk-hai coming now. We're getting to the siege. I remember expecting a siege, and the scene in this where the ladders go up on the wall. This is the one that I've like walked past while someone has watched this movie, and I recognise that bit. It looks very one-sided on the face of it. We've got like hundreds of thousands of Uruk-hai and like 20 lads standing on a wall. We later see that there's more archers back in the courtyard, which is cool, and some other ones up on a tower, which is cool. So there are lots of them, but this looks really one-sided. And then we're cutting back to like the bunker where the women and children are, and that baby front and center is just It's not nice. Like, I could have watched that 10 years ago and just been like, oh, just show me the battle. But now as a parent, you see a baby in amongst a scene like that and you're like, oh, save that baby, please. Like, it's pathetic. And then just a lovely bit of business with Gimli not being able to see over the wall. Absolutely fantastic.
Shall I describe it to you? Or would you like me to find you a box?
And he's chomping at the bit when the arrows start going. He's like, send them up to me. He wants to fight him. He's buzzing. There's a really cool arrow fight. Gimli and Legolas start a murder count. The Ents are being slow and pissing me off because I know it's really fucking urgent now because everyone's dying. Then the wall blows up. That's crazy. The big hench one that's running up with the sparkler to try and light the bomb.
Arrows sticking out of him.
All that terrifying. I love it. Legolas starts skateboarding down the stairs.
I did wonder, is that in the book? Like, there's a Bart Simpson down the stairs while shooting his bow. And so I don't see that being in the book, but I could be wrong.
You got something, Amy?
No, he did not.
No, just for artistic license, and many people are unhappy with it.
I mean, there was no reason for it, but it was cool. And then there's the bit where they creep around. Gimli and Aragorn have crept around to get to the bridge, and Aragorn's like, it's a long jump. I was like, I know what's fucking coming here. I know what's coming. He's gonna say you can toss him. And he did. Class, lovely bit of fun. Everyone gets upset because the Nazgul come in. They break through, and then they're like, they're gonna kill all the women and children. And he's like, oh, there is a passage from to go through. But it's a bit wet, and it goes into the...
Might be a bit icky.
It's a bit gross over that way. And they'll never make it in time. Now. Bro, we had this whole plan. Everyone was... you all timed it with the archers that when you were going to fire, you guys were then going to fire, and then you guys were going to fire, and if we were going to retreat, we were going to retreat back to here. Give the women and children a plan. If you hear this noise, get back in the fucking sewers. Like, just give them that option. And then let them decide when it's too late. Not like, we should have told them they were going to get murdered down there. And then Gandalf's voice echoes in Aragorn's ears, something about the fifth day. And I feel like this should be in my memory as well, but it's not.
Gandalf says it to him as he's leaving to go and get help, basically. He says, look to my coming and the light of the third day. And then sort of, there's a few points that's happened, like when Aragorn's like, when they're all losing hope just before the battle, and then Aragorn remembers that Gandalf told him, like, they will turn to you, they will need you. That's when he gets his armor on. When he sees that boy scared, he remembers Gandalf's words, and he says, oh shit, this is what I'm here for. Yeah.
I don't think I knew the conversation with Gandalf. I don't think that settled in my brain.
Yeah, fair. There's two key points that you need to remember that for, but yeah, you've got them now. So.
But that was nice. But so was the third day of battle, or was this just like the third day after that conversation?
Vague, yeah. It's vague. It's either 3 days later or it's third day of battle. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's clear in the book, but it's not clear for me.
Gandalf shows up. He brings the mob with him. I thought the trees were coming here to Helm's Deep to help out, but the trees have gone to the other tower where Saruman is to fuck shit up over there. So that's good. Tactical, love it. And then I've asked the question, how far are these from each other? So this is what my brain is thinking about the title and saying Two Towers, is that this movie and the Two Towers is about this one tower that Saruman's on, instructing the army, and this one tower at Helm's Deep that they're protecting. Is that not it?
No.
Can somebody help me with what this movie was about, please?
No, in the sense that officially Tolkien never specifies which Two Towers it is. But you were right that in the film they seem to focus on the idea that it is the Tower of Isengard and then the Tower of Barad-dûr with the eye on it.
Then the war is over. There's some apples. This has got to be the end now. Then they talk about a dark terror in Minas Morgul, and that Frodo should definitely go on his own with Gollum to a place called Minas Morgul, which literally means kill an important person. Morgul, important person. Minas, minus, subtract, kill. Kill Frodo is what this place is called, and they're going to send Frodo with the little goblin that wants to have him. That seems like a poor idea. He was meant to go, let's not forget, he's meant to be in fucking Mordor by now, and he's not there. He's been in a lot of other places. We gotta stop sending Frodo on his own places, I reckon. Sam is saying to Gollum, like, we didn't mean to let those archers fuck you up. no hard feelings. And Gollum repeats back to him, no hard feelings, that's the first time he uses the plural S without saying feelings is. And I was like, you fucking knew you could do it, you little shitbag. You just putting it on. Do they have any idea where Frodo and Sam are? Because we're wrapping up now and we're kind of saying what's happening next, and Gandalf's like, yep, we just got to trust the process. Two little hobbits, they can do it. And do they know at all where Frodo and Sam are right now?
No.
Amazing. That's insane to me, because this place is huge. I don't know if they will actually reconvene during this trilogy. Gollum then says, he has a bit of a creep in the forest, and he says that she can do it, meaning kill the hobbits. We're guessing that is the Dark Terror in Minas Morgul that he's referring to. That's it. Follow me is the last line from Gollum, which is gross. 3 hours and 35 minutes later.
Almost as long as this podcast.
Which means almost 1 hour and 45 minutes of that was just a tree talking. It could have been less than 2 hours.
So I made a note of the predictions you made before you watched the film. So you predicted that the stories would split up and there'd be more character development between the main guys, as you called them. But the main guys you were referring to were Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas, which that is a fair comment. They are the main guys in this film.
We got some development on Aragorn, definitely.
Definitely.
I don't feel like Legolas and Gimli were developed much but we got to know them better.
They became friends, which was nice because originally they hated each other.
Mm.
Yeah, because it got to the point where like Gimli was. I mean, he even made a joke at the end, like with the murder count. He was like, "I'm not losing to a pointy ear."
42? Oh, that's not bad for a pointy-eared elvish princeling.
That was genuine racism last movie, whereas now it's like...
Now it's banter. Yeah, they're giving more substance. You learn more about their personalities, if not their background. Rather than Legolas just being the moody one in the corner, you now learn that you can have a laugh. And another prediction you made was the ring wouldn't actually be destroyed by the end of this film.
Nailed that.
Yeah, you said they may lose the ring at the end of the film and one of the baddies would have it, but you'd be on the side of the baddie by this point, so it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, I guess we didn't get that, did we? I was thinking that by the end, fucking Gollum would have it or something, or when Boromir started talking about it, I thought he might be interested in it as well. Good. And I'm surprisingly not on the bad guy's side here. I usually am in things like this by now.
I think it's such a clean good versus evil tale that there's no ambiguity. There's no sort of, I see why the baddie's doing it. There's none of that.
There's no
evil.
redeeming, factor to it. There's no logic you can get on side with. It's just power seeking, and it's like that's not relatable, really. For most viewers, I think. Yeah.
One of the two towers you said would be Saruman's tower, so you were right there.
Was I?
Yeah.
I've lost track of what the actual towers were now.
You didn't know what the other tower would be, but you predicted one would be Saruman's tower because you talked about the tower that the wizard was in earlier in Lord of the Rings, but you referred to it as Power Tower.
Power Tower.
I don't think it was. You also said a lot of the film would be a push to sort of take control of these towers, and it would be a motivator in the story, like trying to destroy one of the towers, or these towers would somehow be the source of power for some people and they needed to be destroyed. In a way, we get that with Isengard, but it's more like the HQ rather than the source of power.
It was more of a strategic location thing, whereas I was thinking like these were going to be like magically connected and you'd have to break the connection or something. I was off with that one.
But not too bad.
Yeah. So you've watched Fellowship and Two Towers now. How are you feeling about going into Return of the King?
I'm genuinely a little bit annoyed we're probably not going to be doing it for a while now. I was excited to watch this one because I knew the first was like probably the slowest. So I was buzzing to keep this world unfolding, and I think I'm still there. I just want to keep learning more about this world and these characters. So it made me really excited that there's more to it than just world building, because there have been nice connections between characters. There have been awesome battles, and I want more of that. And by all accounts, I'm going to get more of that. So yeah, I do think they have. Again, it's hard to compare first to second because I think they're coming at you from a different direction, aren't they? The first was right. Here's all the groundwork we need to lay. In their opinion, I don't think they needed to, but they wanted to lay this groundwork, and then like boom, here's a big story of shit that's happening in this world we just gave you. It'll develop from there. So it'd be hard for me to say like second's better than first, but I've definitely enjoyed the second one more than the first one.
Okay, good.
That is a common opinion of the second one, I think.
Definitely is. Is this sway you towards watching more fantasy films in the future, or just Lord of the Rings films?
I won't fucking touch another one until I've watched more Lord of the Rings because I'll get confused. That's my stance there. I am barely learning these places and names and laws and races. So if I mix something else in now, if I go and watch fucking Warcraft or something and they start talking about what their orcs do, I'll be really confused. I will want to watch more of the genre when I'm done with Lord of the Rings, I think, because it is something I've avoided for years because I've been like, oh, that's some dweeby shit. And then when I did catch up with it, it was mainly through video games, and Lord of the Rings felt too overwhelming and enormous to approach. So it was like, if I'm not going to have Lord of the Rings, it's not even worth watching anything else fantasy because it's just going to be derivative. When I'm done with Lord of the Rings and maybe Hobbit as well, I'll be a full fantasy nerd, I expect. I mean, I've got a fucking tattoo already. I'll have a map on my wall by the next time we record, no doubt.
Thank you, Rhys, for bringing us along on your journey. It's been quite insightful. I've quite enjoyed this.
It's been good. Before we go, can I get some of your opinions? Like, where are you guys on first versus second and highlight of this movie?
I think they get better as they go. I think the third is the best. It is the payoff to everything the first two build towards, but Helm's Deep is one of the best scenes in the trilogy, in my opinion. This film's got sort of that raw emotion, and it does it so efficiently. You know, you introduce a character, and an hour later you're crying over his backstory. You don't even get that with the Hobbits. Like the end of the first film, they're still annoying little shits. Yeah, I do get bored of the Ent B plot. I'm in Camp Rhys for that one. I do just sort of glaze over and look at my phone when the Ents are on screen, because compared to the rest of the film, it's pretty dull. I don't dislike Merry and Pippin as much as you. I think it's just the Ents I find a bit dull because they are so slow and so infuriating. It's like, just do something. The Sam, Frodo, and Gollum plot, it makes me uncomfortable. It's quite slow going. Like the approach to Mordor, that was a bit interesting, and then them getting kidnapped. These are all interesting parts that would make a great one episode in this HBO series of Lord of the Rings, but as they're interwoven with battles and stuff that you want to keep watching, they just feel like, oh, just go back to the battle. I want to see the battle. That's probably the 12-year-old me talking more than me.
Yeah.
But it's still ingrained in me. That's how I feel. It's like I want everything to build to this huge battle, and I want to see orcs get killed.
I've only seen 19 of Gimli's 43 kills because of this fucking tree.
Yeah, I always remember the fight scenes being a lot more fluid. Obviously, it's nice to have an hour of a film devoted to this big battle. I think that's good. A lot of people get bored of that, but I think it's good. But even then, I remember the action being a bit smoother and a bit more played out, whereas it's watching it again now, it feels choppy. You get like 1 second of someone swinging a sword, and then 1 second of an orc dying, and then and it's hard to keep up now. Maybe I'm just getting old. Even still, the battle is the best scene of the film for me, and it is one of the best scenes of the trilogy.
So my favourite, I mean, Rhys mentioned it's the bit where Aragorn's kind of looking around for clues to see where they are. It's just amazing. It's shot so well, kind of chopping between the past and kind of what they're working out at that point. I also really liked Helm's Deep in this, and I'm not a big battle person, but it's just something that I've just always really kind of held my attention, which is, you know, it's quite rare for me for a big fight scene like that.
I prefer the first to the second.
Wow.
Now, I know that's not a very common opinion, but I love low building. I love the fact that every time they come across like an issue in the first one, party is so unprepared and unequipped that they have to just run. They just can't do it. It's like they get to Moria, great. Oh, there's all these goblins. Okay, we can fight a little battle. We're doing okay. Oh, there's too many of them. What we're going to do? Run. Oh no, we're swarmed. Now there's a Balrog. It just progressively gets worse for them. They just can't fight it. Even like when they are successful against the Uruk-hai, there's a loss of Boromir. That's like a real proper loss to the party. Then the party gets split. Sorry, I should say the Fellowship, not the party. But I just really like that slow building and then how it all fails. Maybe I'm just a massive pessimist. I just love seeing that.
I do just want to point out that I am fully on team Treebeard. Love him. Always have, always will. Treebeard for life.
In the Two Towers, my favourite bit is the Ents.
Oh.
How on earth can that be? I'm here thinking, I'll watch this film again, but I'll either, like Mark says, just be on my phone for those bits, or I'll be skipping through. Are you going to be skipping through like the battle with the hyenas to get to the end scenes?
I just don't see how they can lose. They've got a goddamn warg. Why isn't it just chomping at the neck of the horses? Why aren't they just murdering them? I just don't see how Rohan have any chance in that fight. But whatever. I love Helm's Deep. It's a brilliant fight. It's, you know, how it gets progressively worse. Oh my god, I just love things getting worse, don't I?
I think you enjoy the torment of our party, is what.
Yeah. But no, I just love Treebeard. I think he's a brilliant character, and I just like how slow he is throughout the whole thing. It's like when they're like, "Oh, have you come to a decision?" No, we've said good.
That's torture. Even you
Morning.
doing this is torture for me. It's like that fucking character from Malcolm in the Middle where he's like, I He's literally Treebeard. Obviously, you guys have both read the books. Is he more endearing in the books? Because you both like him and have read the books. We don't like him and haven't.
And more. And when this came out, I was 11 or 12. What else do I need? A walking, talking tree?
I do get what you mean, Andy, where this is, you know, the first film, it subverts the audience a little bit. You know, bad things can happen to the heroes. And I think that's where the success of Game of Thrones came from, was like, it surprised the audience by letting bad things happen to their favourite characters. You don't see it very often in family-friendly fantasy.
Well, in the first film, Boromir dies. In the second one, Haldir dies. Who cares about Haldir?
Well, Gandalf dies in the first one.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
An easy giveaway because it's a fantasy, and I think that's to your point. That's why you don't see good guys dying in fantasy films, is because they're always archetypes, aren't they? So you always need the ranger, the rogue, the barbarian, and that. So you can only kill one of them when you find their duplicate. So you can only kill the ranger if you find another ranger. So guess what? You find Boromir, you got Boromir and Aragorn, one of them can die. You find Boromir, you got Boromir and Aragorn, one of them can die. Like, you know, so if someone shows up and he looks a bit like a wizard and he's got a staff, we'll be like, Gandalf, your days are numbered, pal.
When he's got the same build as you and he's younger than you, you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I do get your point where it just showed that. I guess, yeah, watching the first one, being like, oh, these guys are going to have to learn with us. They aren't just ready-made heroes. They're not superheroes. We are in the journey with them. They're fucking up and we're going to fuck up with them, kind of thing. Which maybe makes their celebrations feel better. Like during this movie when they are kicking ass and you got Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli just bouncing off each other and dominating people in fights. You're like, oh shit, I knew them when they didn't know each other and hated each other, and now look at them, we've like grown together. So
out of the three storylines, I think Frodo, Sam, and Gollum's is the worst. It's just very difficult to watch.
It's inconsequential as well. None of it can happen and nothing changes. I could start watching the next one and have finished watching The Fellowship. As far as Frodo and Sam and Gollum are concerned, nothing's changed.
They've covered ground, that's it, yeah.
Everyone else has had some kind of character arc or something happened to change the dynamics. Still, I hope Merry and Pippin fuck off.
Oh, you're going to love the third one.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Well, thank you for listening to our podcast as we went through a journey through Fangorn Forest, met some wonderful Ents, travelled the plains of Rohan, battled at Helm's Deep, and listened to Sam and Frodo moan the whole time. I have enjoyed this film. Rhys did. I hope you all listening did too. So that's a bye from me, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
It's the Dead by Cinema Club. We've seen some things, but we haven't seen enough. With popcorn dreams and midnight screams, we're chasing scenes through broken beams. Neon lights in a dusty haze, urban legends lost in a maze. From silver screens to battered tapes, our love for cinema never escapes. It's the Dead by Cinema Club. We've seen some things, but we haven't seen enough. With popcorn dreams and midnight screams, we're chasing scenes through broken beams.